Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If we're all set, we can call this meeting to order of your Pontiac City Council meeting for Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. If there's any available seats near you, you can raise your hand to identify that there's seated relief available towards the front of the chambers. Please put your phones on vibrate or silent, and we give the floor to the Honorable Councilman Parker to introduce this evening's invocation.
Good afternoon, everyone. I introduce to you again Pastor Emeritus Kathy Desrow, who will give us our invocation this evening.
Our Father, we thank you for the beautiful day, and we thank you for the sun and how it speaks of new life and beginnings, and we see the flowers beginning to break through the ground. And Lord, it's sort of like us. We're beginning to break through the hate and the anger. And Lord, we're beginning to restore this city to what you planned it to be. And we ask that tonight would be a continuation of that beginning, for we ask it in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening, we hold a moment of silence as a community, late-breaking word about the death of Mr. Eric Johnson, who was no stranger to this chamber as an advocate for his fellow Pontiac residents, a proud Pontiac product and resident. We have one of his younger pictures on the screen here. This evening's meeting and this moment of silence is dedicated to Mr. Eric Johnson, a son of Pontiac, gone too soon. Please join us for a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you very much, and we send our sincere condolences to the family, friends, and past colleagues of Mr. Johnson. Clerk Doyle, roll call of council members.
Carrington.
Present.
Goodman.
Here.
James.
Here.
McGinnis.
Present.
Nicholson. Parker.
Here.
Rutherford. Mr. President, you have a quorum.
All right, quorum being established, are there any motions to authorize the excusing of council members from the meeting?
So moved.
All right. Councilman Goodman makes the motion. Which council members would you like to authorize?
Councilman Rutherford and Councilman Nicholson.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Goodman, seconded by Councilman James. Pardon me, my microphone was off. Moved by Councilman Goodman, seconded by Councilwoman James to authorize the excusing of council members Nicholson and Rutherford from this evening's meeting for personal reasons. Any discussion on the motion?
Yes, President McGinnis, have both council members contacted leadership concerning absences for tonight?
Yes, both have. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Clerk Doyle on the motion.
Carrington.
Yes.
Goodman.
Yes.
James.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
That motion carries, and they are therefore excused. Is there a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Parker, seconded by Councilman James, that we approve this evening's agenda. Pro Tem Carrington had a motion.
Yes, President McGinnis, I'd like to amend the agenda to include City Council resolution requiring mayor to get council authorization prior to pursuing new litigation involving city retiree benefits.
Okay, where would you like that on the agenda? The new number 7?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that would be the first of the 3 city council resolutions if the agenda is so amended. Any discussion on the motion to amend, adding that new number 7 city council resolution? Hearing no further discussion, roll call Clerk Doyle on the amendment to the proposed agenda.
The second, I missed the second. The second was fine.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was moved by Pro Tem Carrington,
Support.
and it's been supported by Councilman Goodman. Thank you, Clerk Doyle.
All right. James,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Carrington,
Yes.
Goodman.
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
The motion carries. That amendment is reflected in the main motion, the agenda before us. Any further discussion, amendments?
Do we have the resolution?
Oh, yes.
Just need- okay.
Councilman Goodman has a copy for you. All right. Hearing no further discussion on the agenda as amended, roll call on adoption of the agenda as amended. Clerk Doyle.
Goodman,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Carrington.
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
That motion carries. We'll proceed accordingly with the approved agenda. We're at the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Support.
Moved by Parker, second by Carrington. Tonight's consent agenda has 3 items. One is the February 23rd City Council Facilities and Properties Subcommittee meeting minutes. One is the February 29th regular City Council meeting minutes. And item C is the resolution to approve a settlement agreement with Angela Benitez, the former Human Resources Director, for $33,583.33. Roll call on adoption of the consent agenda and those items. Clerk Doyle.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Carrington,
Yes.
Goodman,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
All right, that carries, and those 3 items in the consent agenda are approved. We're now at the 4 special presentations we have this evening. Not all of them will be the same length, but the first up, we had a wonderful holiday extravaganza parade this last winter, and a beautiful annual tradition. And as part of this year's experience, there was a community painting that was conducted. Together We Can Make a Difference painting presentation. Do we have representatives from the holiday extravaganza committee that wishes to present the painting this evening? All right, we welcome them to the floor. And let's give them a preemptive round of applause for all the hard work they did to make this annual tradition go, first and foremost.
Good evening. We good? All right. Good evening to the community of Pontiac, also to our esteemed city council, council president McGinnis, Pro Tem Carrington, and also Mayor Tim Grimel. You know, this is a beautiful thing that we're looking to be able to present today. You know, this is something unlike anything that we've ever done on behalf of the Holiday Extravaganza. And for everybody who doesn't know, Holiday Extravaganza is the holiday parade that actually embodies 4 different communities. That's Pontiac, Auburn Hills, White Lake, as well as Waterford. It brings us all together through the holiday season for a festive activity, but also, too, to show a unification between communities, coming together as opposed to always showing some type of big divide. But from that, this year, we wanted to go ahead and do something a little extra special as I go and bring this person up next to me so that you all know who this is. This right here is the godmother of the holiday extravaganza, Ms. Linda Zabik. I need you to please put your hands together for this woman. Because all those magnificent parades does not happen without this woman's hard work. But this piece that we have right here, the gentleman that you have that's walking in front of you is the actual artist that actually put this piece in place to give us all the opportunity to contribute to it. So put your hands together for Mr. Daniel Cascardo. Basically what this painting is this. What we want to do different this year is we want to go ahead and embody a piece that was going to go ahead and give individuals who participated in the parade an opportunity to actually contribute to the actual outcome of this particular painting. So what we did was, because of Central Multicultural La Familia actually offering up their space as a warming spot for our senior citizens, because, you know, cold is cold. And so we wanted to make sure we had them taken care of. So in that spot, we had this painting actually sitting there, but it was not colored at all. So this is our opportunity to bring these individuals together to give their contribution. Whatever color they wanted to go ahead and paint it, whatever designs they wanted to go ahead and put in place. But when I looked at it, so originally, being fair about this, I thought this was going to be a travesty. but when you look at the outcome, it is absolutely amazing what came out of this painting. And so that is why we wanted to go ahead and make sure it was something that was going to, because it commemorates not only bringing those communities together, but also a piece that brought so many of our senior citizens together. And then there was a few spots that were left over, so we wanted to extend the opportunity to DPW, DPU with the city of Pontiac. We wanted to go and also have the executive offices. Certain people came down and gave their contribution. Tanisha tried to paint it all by herself, but nevertheless. And then also to you know, we had the communications department that came in, too, to go and actually contribute to what you see right here. But what we wanted to do is make sure this was going to find a dynamic home for it to actually be seated at. So we wanted to go ahead and pick one of our senior centers, because we felt like that is only right. The seniors are the ones who gave the big contribution to this picture, this painting being what it is. And so we chose to go ahead and send this particular piece over to the Ruth Peterson Center.
Oh, great.
Where it's going to go ahead and find a permanent home there. And so next year, Bowen Center, hey, do not go ahead and fret. Next year, we'll go ahead and look at you. But for this time, we want to go ahead and put some on the north side of Pontiac to give them something to go ahead and think about every time they pass through, knowing what the contribution our senior citizens made to make this piece what it is. And that's in your district, too, is it not, Mr. Carrington? Councilman Carrington? So, yes. So, you know, and it's with that great honor for us to be able to present that today. And so, on behalf of the Holiday Extravaganza Committee, you know, which the mayor sits on as well, you know, because, yeah, you're trying to hide that, weren't you, Mayor? But nevertheless, we look forward to this actually finding that home. And so when you get a chance to come on by, take a look at it firsthand, it'll be amazing. But to go ahead and also commemorate this moment, too, we end up coming up with a few different trinkets, some memorabilia, to go ahead and commemorate the painting itself. Antonio, nephew, can you come in for a minute, man? I love it when my kids come up here. I get a chance to see them. But I need you to go ahead and do something for me, please. This right here, to go ahead and commemorate the artistic piece of this particular painting, we want to go ahead and put mugs in place for all of you at City Council to be able to go ahead and remember firsthand what this painting looks like, especially given the fact it's the first time we've ever done anything like this. So I'm going to have this young man right here, Antonio Marcus. Not that I'm biased because he's family, but I want you to please take these over here to City Council to first of all, our Deputy Mayor, Kelfani Stevens, Mayor Tim Grimel, and also on City Council. Yeah, just take the box. You take the box over there, and please hand it to him.
He's big enough to just...
All right, thank you.
Leave the spot open for Councilman Rutherford, though. It was something that we have a little bit different for her. And I'll explain why it's different, too. So, ain't no favoritisms. But, City Council, we want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to do something like this for this community. You know, I think this is huge, and I love it because it happened right in downtown Pontiac, so that's what this should look like. So I appreciate all of you for that, and you, Mayor, for allowing us to have the opportunity to go ahead and continuously put that parade in downtown Pontiac. Nowhere else but downtown Pontiac. So, and I'm loving every drop of it, too. But this last piece that we have for Councilwoman Rutherford is it's an actual bag. And the reason why we're giving her this is because the parade actually goes through her district, in District 1. So we want to go ahead and you know, and Linda had to have a couple conversations about a few different things to make sure that things was going to be, and ensure things were going to be what it needed to be. for the parade. And so because of that, we wanted to go ahead and present her with this bag that looks just like this piece right here. So,
Just give it to the clerk.
yeah, somebody want to go ahead?
We'll get it to her.
Is she coming?
No, not tonight. We'll get it to her.
And if we could possibly bother you for one thing, just because the fact of the historic piece that we are, the historic value to what it is we're looking to do, we would love to have all you come and take a picture with this piece if you wouldn't mind.
Love to.
So, and yeah, I've tried it. It ain't working though. I don't want to go up here for the.
You gotta get in the picture. I'll take the picture for you. You a part of the team?
All right, ready? 1, 2, and
All right, another round of applause for the holiday. There's a funny story with that. Thank you again to the Holiday Extravaganza Committee. We are really excited for this year's fantastic Holiday Extravaganza Parade. Ms. Zabik and Mr. Phillips, do you want to give the date to the community where they can get excited?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, Holiday Extravaganza always takes place the first Saturday of December. So this year it's December 7th. So we hope to see everyone there. Last year was the largest parade. The Sheriff Department anticipated over 10,000 people joined us. And if you were on the street or rode on the street like the mayor and Kilfonte did, the crowd was amazing. So our thanks to the community for supporting and participating with us. And we love it. We'll be in our 43rd year this year.
43rd, all right.
Yeah.
great.
It takes a community. Thank you so much. All right, moving on to our next special presentation. We want to introduce the Youth Recreation, the City of Pontiac's Youth Recreation new program, STRESS, Skills to Reaching Emotional Social Stability. And we invite the mayor to introduce it, as well as the Youth Recreation Manager, Ms. Tanisha Taylor, to present more.
Well, thank you, President McGinnis. We're really excited about this addition to our youth recreation and enrichment programming. This is really all about investing in our young people's mental and emotional health. And to present more information about this, I want to introduce our dynamic, our incredible youth recreation manager, Tanisha Taylor.
Well, good evening to everyone in the city of Pontiac, to our council, to our city clerk, to our awesome mayor and deputy mayor. Whew, we have some amazing programs here in the city of Pontiac. Yes. Amazing. We currently have 24 wonderful programs, but the one that we want to talk about tonight is our STRESS program. STRESS is an acronym for Skills to Reach Emotional Social Stability. That was very important. We had a lot of thought go into this. We wanted to raise that mental health awareness amongst our teens and our youth in our city. Our youth go through a lot daily, dealing with anxiety, depression, and just stress at hand, and just peer pressure. So in doing that, we came up with the program, and we have two amazing one is a clinical psychologist, and one is a clinical social worker. Let me go back, they're certified. So we're super excited for that class. and we had an awesome group of young people in the class. I had an opportunity to go over myself, and boy, I mean, I'm not a youth anymore, but I gained a lot of coping mechanisms from that, even myself, and how I deal with stress at work and just everyday life. So it was a great program, and I don't want to talk too much because I want to give them time to talk about the program, but I truly want to tell you it's amazing, and if you have young people, you need to get them signed up for this program. We want you in it, and it definitely does help. I also want to highlight our program was held, the location was at Prospect Missionary Baptist Church under the leadership of Pastor Derek McDonald. And I want to highlight them because they fed our youth every Monday night. They give them dinner. They don't have to do that, but they did it. And so we want to highlight them as well. But after my voice, you will hear from the therapist or the psychologist and the social worker, as well as Pastor McDonald. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Let me up here by myself. To our council, our mayor and our deputy mayor, and we're just really thankful to be here. We welcome the opportunity to come before you and talk about the program. We're going to give our youth the opportunity to share with you the benefits that they see and that they have come for the program. One of the things that specifically for myself I want to highlight is just I'm very impressed being in long-term, all of my life, been a resident of the city of Pontiac. I am thankful and I'm very impressed in the effort that has been put into having this be available for our youth. It's definitely, we're looking for a creative, interactive, and fun way to engage with them and help them to learn these skills that they'll need as they continue to transition into young adults and be productive citizens of whether it's going to be our city or somewhere else. And I'm just thankful that the city has taken the opportunity and really looked at this as an important need for our youth. The other thing I will highlight is just really trying to educate our parents and those that are in our community about mental health. I think one of the challenges we've had is just having our community see this as a positive, proactive way to engage with our children. Even some of our children are challenged with the understanding about what it means to have strong mental health. This is something that we all can benefit from, and we really want to continue to work to spread the word about why this is necessary. Please, if you have any youth that are that you're working with or that are a part of your family, take into consideration this is a wonderful program that can continue to be utilized and increase their overall mental health and their social and emotional stability. This is something that's beneficial for them. And again, I thank the city for the opportunity to even be a part of it. And I'm hoping that we can continue to see this evolve and be a part of what we're looking and putting into the youth for our community. So I'm going to pass it over to the other.
Can you introduce yourself, actually?
I'm sorry, I did not. I did all that talking and didn't do that. Who would have known? But my name is Cassandra Thomas. I'm a resident of District 6. Okay. And like I said, I've grown up and born and raised in Pontiac, and I'm just really excited about the changes that we're seeing in our city and in our community. So, the other Cassandra.
Hello. So my name is also Cassandra Thomas. I am a licensed master psychologist. Ironic, yes, we're both Cassandra Thomas. So I am a licensed master psychologist. So I wanted to start off by saying thank you all to Mayor Grimel and the City Council. If you all will remember, I was here in November 2022 expressing the need and the desire for a youth program as such. And here we are, and we have had 4 successful cohorts of students who have benefited from this program. So I just wanted to take time to say thank you for that. So with our program, we also want to give great thanks to Prospect Missionary Baptist Church because not only do they feed our youth, but they provide home-cooked meals. So not just purchasing something, but putting love and effort into making sure that our kids are fed and they have a safe environment. So thank you for that as well. Thank you. So one thing, I want to give the students a youth opportunity to share their experiences, but one thing that I wanted to highlight is that just with the climate of our current city, country, nation, we have the opportunity to provide a safe space for our children. These are all of our children. These are our babies. So we have the opportunity to not only educate them on the benefits of mental health, but we have the opportunity to have real life conversations with them about what they're experiencing and what they may not feel comfortable or even know how to talk about at home. So we have that opportunity to be frontline and create safe spaces for them and let them know how they can go back and have these conversations, educate their peers. We have encouraged them to invite their friends to come back. And some of our youth are repeat students, so they keep coming back because they like it. So we ask that you all continue to support our program. We thank you for the opportunity, and please bring your youth and sign up. And it's free. It is a free program, and we are licensed and qualified professionals to run this program. So please, again, it's free. Sign up and bring your students. So I would like to introduce first up our senior in our program, Khaled, as he'll tell you his benefits of the program.
Good evening. My name is Khalid Muhammad. Some of the beneficial things I learned from this program was like learning to understand my feelings and how to control them, and like different coping mechanisms to like help them. And it helped me build bonds with people I might have not have met. Yeah.
Very good. And next we have Kaden, who's also a high school student. In ninth grade? Yeah. In the ninth grade.
This is on? All right. My name is Kaden. The program really helped me like learn how to deal with my emotions, and like it also helped me through some rough times where like I didn't know how to feel because I never knew like certain like breathing techniques or just like stuff she taught us, like where I had to think before I act and things like that.
Awesome. So lastly, we will hear from she's a junior in high school, and she's our only girl right now in the program, but she holds it down.
Hi, my name is Madison. The thing I wanted to share about the youth program was a thing we got taught called STAR, Stop, Think, and React. I think it's been very helpful in my everyday life, just going to school, dealing with regular things. And when I think about certain situations, just stop thinking and reacting from learning this from the program.
So if we could just take a moment before Reverend McDonald comes up to close us out. We recognize you all as city council members that some days may be tough when you come up here and have conversations. So we wanted to give you all each your own star to help you remember to stop and think before you have to react and take a breath. So Madison is going to give you all a star just so you can have and hopefully hang up on your wall and just have a little reminder of what our youth program and what our youth are learning. So thank you all, and we'll have Reverend McDonald up for us. Thank you.
To the administration and to City Council, don't really have much to add other than the fact that we're grateful to be able to provide a space where our youth can come and get what's needed in these very difficult times, and that is this stress course. And certainly we are grateful to Cassandra for the work that they're doing with our youth. And as you've heard, just this small group of folks, this is, I believe, the third session of 6-week sessions that have been held for this stress program. So again, with everything that our children are going through each and every day, many of them don't even talk to us and tell us. This is an opportunity to get them some definite skills to be resilient in the things that they're going to find themselves facing. So thank you again.
Thank you, Pastor McDonald, and thank you for your hospitality and support. Councilman Goodman, you have the floor.
I just want to thank you deeply for the work that you're doing. It's funny enough that, like, while we're having this discussion, some of my old coworkers are in here because I used to work at a school. I used to teach Black history to high schoolers, and you know, it is massively important, like the conversation of mental health, because I think up here I've said it before openly. Like in our community, mental health is a very difficult conversation because there are those of us who are, and I say young in like the loosest sense, but like people in like my parents' generation, being like born in the 80s, 70s, and later, who like see mental health as being an actual problem that people are dealing with and not just something that you can sleep away. You know, oh, you're depressed? Well, you ain't got nothing to be depressed about. Go to sleep, right? It's not only that conversation, but like the conversation that like mental health is not just a white people conversation. Because like the same way that like oftentimes our parents would be like, oh, well, that's something that white kids do. It's like, I can be depressed. If I'm living in the equivalent to what is sometimes a war zone, I might have PTSD. Like having ADHD, having like all these different, like it affects our community just like it affects everyone else's. And to see you take it seriously and to actually, you know, do this work, it does mean a lot to me as someone who is a young black man who had to have the same mental health conversation with my family and people around me, and then with my students when I had them. So I just thank you deeply, and I respect the work. And then very much a lot of thanks to Tanisha for helping do this as well.
Thank you. Any final hands? Councilman James.
Yes, I would like to commend all of you, really. It's just a joy to hear this report. We, the council, approved last year a resolution that we want our city to be a city of resilience. We really need to build that healing and that avenue for people to be able to come out of the things that they have gone through and to be able to bounce back and to be resilient. And so the work that you're doing is absolutely what we said we had hoped to see in the city of Pontiac. You guys are making it happen, and I could not be more pleased. So I really want to commend you for the work that you're doing, and I would want to see that work continued. I want to commend the young people that are in the program for having the courage to come up and to say the things that you have gained from it. And so I really appreciate, again, all the work that you guys are doing. And you really are helping us as a city to be a resilient city. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councilman Parker.
Thank you, Brother President. And I just want to thank the Cassandras for the excellent job that you guys continue to do and the heart that you have and the labor of love you put forth toward dealing with our youth. But I also want to thank them for understanding and dealing with their adverse childhood traumas while they're children, and it makes them into being better adults. So continue to do the good work, continue to put forth the effort, and I pray that more parents will get their children involved in it because it's much needed.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. Any final hands? With that, Manager Taylor, would you like to give a final plug for how community members could learn more or sign up?
Yes, thank you so much. So now you all had an opportunity to see how awesome this program is, and you want to join us. How can you join us? You can go to pontiacrecreation.recdesk.com, and you can sign up there. And you notice they're not little kids, right? They're high schoolers. So we do have programs for all ages. And this one is extremely important. STAR. Okay, so you want to sign up there. Thank you so much for this time, and we look forward to presenting a program possibly every month to highlight a program. So we just say thank you.
All right. Before we give them a round of applause, just to plug that this is your taxpayer dollars at work, the City of Pontiac Youth Recreation Millage programming. This is the city's employee that manages that youth recreation program and some of the instructors that are enlisted for that purpose as well. So a round of applause for the City of Pontiac's youth recreation manager and the STRESS program. Thank you. We're at the third special presentation. It's really just an FYI. At last week's city council meeting, or at a previous city council meeting, it was discussed about wanting to see community conversations and town hall opportunities about proposed changes for housing. And specifically, the city council is considering adding protections for those that are seeking housing so that way they would not be discriminated against for various reasons, including if Section 8 is their source of income, or Section 8 vouchers, or if it's veterans resources, legal means of income. And so we wanted to make sure that the community members knew that that is taking place next Monday, March 11th, So upcoming Monday, March 11th, 7 p.m. at Prospect Missionary Baptist Church. So the District 7 monthly meeting has been co-opted to benefit the city as a whole. So that is the community conversation on human rights protections and housing source of income. We want to hear your feedback. We want to make the decision we make stronger, and we'll break down section by section about what's under consideration. All right, any further discussion on that special presentation? It's really an invitation. All are welcome to that free and open gathering. Councilman Goodman.
I simply want to say thank you to Council President for allowing the ordinance to co-opt to his meeting to make sure that there is a good community discussion on it before next time it happens.
Okay. Anything further? With that, we're now at number 4 on the agenda, the last special presentation. We in this chamber have been really honored to have our community partner and continue to be active in leading. That's Pontiac United, and they've presented the last few years the winners of the Beyond Martin and Rosa Black History Month contest, and it's that time again. Thank you to them for offering up that opportunity for our community's youth, and now we give the floor to them to present this year's celebrants and honorees.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, residents of Pontiac, and all that are here for the Pontiac United Beyond Martin and Rosa Essay Contest. My name is Sean Preston.
Good evening, everyone, Mayor, Council. I'm Tracy Hirsch. Students, parents, teachers that are here, hello. Thank you for coming out for this special presentation.
We're here on behalf of Pontiac United. Tonight, we are recognizing some extraordinary young people. This is our 3rd year doing this Beyond Martin and Rosa Essay Contest, which encourages young people to write essays about other significant African Americans besides Martin and Rosa. This year, we had over 60 submissions, so give these young people a round of applause. There you go. I would like to thank our sponsor, the Ascend Foundation. Can we get Brother Kano up here real quick? You good? All right. So with that being said, we will present these young people with their prizes. Our 9th and 10th grade selection was so awesome that we had to select a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place winner. Give those people a round of applause as well. All right, so when each kid comes up here, can you please say your name, what school you attend, and why you chose that person that you chose to write about? All right, let's go with our first name. Ready? You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Our first winner is a 3rd grade student from ATAP. Her name is Harmony Pashal.
She's not here. She's sick.
All right.
Yeah.
Harmony couldn't be here tonight. Give her a round of applause. All right. Our 5th grade winner is a student from ATAP. Her name is Honesty Lewis. Give it up. Give it up.
My name is Honesty Lewis, and I go to Arts Technology Academy in Pontiac, and I decided to do Macy Jemison on my project because she was the first African American to ever fly into space, and I thought it would be cool to learn about her and a lot from her.
All right. Our 11th and 12th grade first place winner is Antonio Marcus. And he attends ITA.
Congratulations.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. It's a pleasure to be before you. My name is Antonio Marcus. I go to International Technology Academy, and I chose the Little Rock 9 because, well, the Little Rock 9 being one cautionary tale, of post-slavery, Jim Crow era school like integration, coming out of the segregation era where there was a lot of, uproar around the desegregation of schooling. And there was a mention of the Milgram experiment being basically like in obedience to authority, an experiment like displaying that was the idea was given to me by Mr. Sandy. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And a round of applause for Paul Sandy, Pontiac Public School teacher at ITA. Thank you for being a strong educator in our community.
Whose birthday is, I think, the day before mine.
Happy recent birthday, Mr. Sandy.
All right, our 9th and 10th grade first place winner is from ITA, Brooklyn, Washington.
Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening. I forgot which one it is right now. My name is Brooklyn Washington. I attend International Technology Academy, and the reason I chose Mamie Till Mobley is because of her decision to have an open casket funeral for her son, Emmett Till. It really sparked a change in the community, which eventually sparked a change in the world. Her hard work and determination really moved me to write about her so you all could see her the way that I do.
All right, our second place winner is from ITA as well. Give it up for Kelsey Melcher. Did I say the name right, Kelsey?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Kelsey Valdivinos Melchor. I'm from International Technology Academy, and I chose Elizabeth Dennison Forth because we see her mural when we pass Woodward Avenue on the Riker building. And I chose her because she was the first African American to be a property owner in Oakland County.
This is our third place winner from ITA, Arlene Contreras. Did I say your name right? All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Arlene Contreras, and I attend ITA. For my essay, I chose to write about the Little Rock Nine because it's important to recognize and highlight those hidden figures who also fought against racism, segregation, and injustice for a better life, and not just for themselves, but also for the future generations. They may not be known as other famous figures are. However, their change and perseverance can be seen today in our world. Thank you.
All right, so we had two third place winners. This is 9th and 10th grade at ITA. This is Diego Castillo Ramos, and he's not here with us tonight. Give him a round of applause. So we have some certificates of recognition that we would like to present as well. This certificate of recognition is on behalf of Pontiac United. myself, and Tracy Hirsch. We would like to present this to Arts and Technology Academy of Pontiac. Okay, Greg.
Arts and Technology of Pontiac and ITA had the most submissions. We received, like Sean said, over 60. It was actually, if we counted all of them, it was 91 submissions. And ITA was the top, but we did have a lot of submissions, so we wanted to, since they were the schools that did actually win, we wanted to present those schools with a certificate as well. And this is Mr. Greg Allen from Arts and Technology, and this is one of his students who actually won. Want to say anything?
My name is Gregory Allen. I've been teaching at Arts and Technology for 4 years now. I'm currently a 4th grade teacher. She was my student from last year, and I'm very proud of her.
I also want to say that Greg Allen is a graduate of the Pontiac Central High School, and he graduated from college all 4 years. My brother got his degree. Give it up for him. We would also like to recognize International Technology Academy of Pontiac School District. Do we have a representative from ITA tonight? Oh, Mr. Sandy.
Yes.
Yes, my name's Paul Sandy. I've been a teacher at ITA in the Pontiac School District for 4 years. And Antonio, Brooklyn, Arlene, Kelsey, and Diego, who is sick tonight. Very proud of them, and we have many other great submissions as well. And this is a great competition, but everybody wins because the students learned about many important figures and groups from Black History Month, but it also gives, kind of a fun component to it. And just, again, congratulations to the ITA students and all of the students who participated and won.
All right, we got another certificate of appreciation for Kano Phillips and the Ascend Foundation. All right. This certificate of recognition is given for ongoing support from your organization for our youth within the city of Pontiac who participate in the Beyond Martin and Rosa Creative Arts Contest. Mr. Kano Phillips.
Hey, real talk, forget me. Let's talk about the people who put this contest on. 3 years in a row. You heard what she said. They had 91 entries. It was 91 or 93?
91. We had over 60. I said over 60, but it's 91.
91 entries. And I remember when this contest first started 3 years ago, I think you had like 40-something entries, correct? And now the actual contest has grown to 90. And I was also fortunate to be one of the judges, too. And I also brought my mother in, and if anybody went to Pontiac Central, y'all know exactly how she rolled when it comes to judging these actual submittals. And these were some incredible, incredible papers. And the thing about it is they were writing about things that were not just conventional Black history. Don't get me wrong, Martin Luther King was a frat brother of mine. Love him. Appreciate his contribution to this world, but still, there's so many more people that did so much more out here. They were writing about, the Elaine Massacre, the Black Wall Street Massacre. They were writing about, Fannie Lou Hamer. You were talking about Mamie Till. That was one of the most powerful movements in civil rights history for what that woman did to open up that casket, let people see what they did to her baby boy, and all he was doing was just going down south just to go ahead and visit family. But these are the kind of things we need to talk about. The Huey Newtons of the world, the Malcolm X's of the world. But you all have built this vehicle to give them an opportunity to go ahead and dig so much deeper than what might be shown or given conventionally in the classroom. So Tracy Hirsch, yeah, I know you don't like to go ahead and come to, she don't like to get recognized for nothing in the world. Tracy, thank you for being absolutely amazing. Sean, thank you for being no, hold on. Tracy, thank you for being absolutely amazing. Put your hands together for Tracy. Sean, Preston, put your hands together for the young guy here. Always looking to go ahead and push the envelope. But, and I give you my word, as long as I draw breath, this contest will always be supported by us. So thank you for everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and this last certificate that we have, we would like to present this to the mayor and the members of the Pontiac City Council. Again, this certificate is given in recognition of the ongoing support from the city leadership for our youth within the city of Pontiac who participate in the Pontiac United, Beyond Rosa, and Martin Creative Arts Essay Contest. Thank you guys for y'all support.
Present right here.
All right. Again, thank you, Mayor and City Council, for allowing us to do this presentation. We are Pontiac United. We offer martial arts, dance, step, baseball, basketball, tutoring. We have over 151 children enrolled in our free programs. Please follow us on all social media platforms. Contact us at pontiacunited@gmail.com. Thank you, Pontiac.
Would it be possible, I know we're done, but would it be possible for us just to get a picture with you guys and the winners right
The
here?
short answer is yes. I did see one hand at least, so might be some question and
absolutely.
feedback.
Absolutely.
Pro Tem Carrington.
Definitely no questions. I just want to commend you guys for the work you do in the community. Learning our history is very important, and I've seen just from the short presentations of your students that they are really, really engaging and learning our history, and it's very powerful. So again, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Mayor Grimel, followed by Councilman Goodman.
Well, indeed, I think Pro Tem Carrington said it very well, but I will just broaden that to say I want to thank you, Tracy, and you, Sean, and everyone with Pontiac United for everything you do in the community. Certainly, this Black History celebration and educational experience is wonderful and awesome, but all of the programs you offer in the community, all of your community engagement is really appreciated and does not go unnoticed. So thank you both, and thank you, Pontiac United.
Thank you.
Councilman Goodman.
I just want to say thank you to Tracy and Sean and everyone at Pontiac United. I don't need to go into too much more detail because y'all know how I feel about y'all. I rock with y'all. But also, I kind of have like a little bit of pride moment because so many ATAP kids, which is my alma mater, I went to ATAP from kindergarten to graduation. So it's nice to see that ATAP is continuing to do well and do great things and putting out great students. So I'm, again, just so forever grateful for what y'all do, not only for the community, but especially the young people in our community. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, with that, let's do the requested group photo wherever the.
Right here is great.
All right.
Right here.
Okay. We'll
put
go in the
children
same
in the front.
same vein.
If you're a winner, yeah. Yep. Just bring this. Just right there. I don't have my phone's in my purse. He's snapping us in the middle. You gotta get in the picture too. I'm good. Every year. I'm good.
No, go up there. Give me the camera. No, you have to go up there. No.
Okay.
Hold on, y'all. Some people got to join you. It's a good camera? It's an iPhone. Well, we see you in selfie mode. Yeah, you know, I'm trying to make sure I'm good. No doubt. You can get in the picture too. Oh, no. That's all about them. Let me go ahead now. Write this down. Sean, you sure it's a good camera, man? It's an iPhone,
Another round of applause for all the Pontiac United Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 20-second recess so that way anyone who was here for that presentation can exit the room without disturbing the proceedings. You can keep your conversations going, just got to do it downstairs or in the hallway.
I'm sorry, we gonna get rocking action. Bye.
All right, that concludes that brief recess. Thank you very much for allowing that opportunity for us to reset the room. We are now at recognition of elected officials. Are there any current elected officials serving our community that wish to give an update about their position?
First, I would like to give honor to God, who's the head of all our lives. As the MDP lead voter protection woman, I would like to thank this city as well as our clerk's office and this city for putting out so much yard signs and stuff to help promote the vote. I would like to thank you all from the bottom of the Voter Protection Service and the job that our clerk office is doing. And I thank you, and let's get ready to work again for coming up here in August. I'm very much proud to see, as I was going around, that the clerk's office, Mr. Doyle, had all his signs up. They passed inspections here, and I am very much proud to say I did a beautiful report on the work that they did. And I'm proud to say, even though I have to go from city to city, I'm mostly proud of Pontiac. Thank you.
Thank you. Other requests for recognition of elected officials? The Honorable Trustee H. Bill Maxey, you have the floor.
Good evening, Bill Maxey. I am treasurer of the Library Board. Briefly, on the community dissemination of information part, we still have that going on Mondays between the hours of 6 and 8. Discussed again will be how to navigate with the DTE bill. We were able to turn some around with consumers' energy and working very hard at drugs prescription. So again, on Monday night, over and over, I said every week between the hours of 6 and 8, if there are any questions, text 248-762-4953. We have made some progress in some of the seniors getting their lights and gas not to be cut off, and prescription drugs, we're working very hard. That is from a community perspective, the core of this community, the library, as far as dissemination of information. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now at agenda address. Pro Tem Carrington, first request.
Thank you, President McGinnis. Mr. Bill Maxey, what item that you want to address on the agenda?
Excuse me?
It's time for agenda address, and you're the first signed up. Did you want to speak to something? Okay.
Yeah, I had 3 questions. the agenda, 3 questions. The agenda on item number 11, I believe it was. That was quick and in a hurry. The grant funding for Michigan Department of Transportation, MDOT. What companies was given the contract? Was it a company that we used before, or was it a company that we recently made a decision? Who made the decision? I'm still not clear on how much money is available for this project. The bottom line is that we're monitoring MSAC to make sure that contractors in this city get an opportunity. How we're going to do that? A couple of us have experience on contract compliance. And whoever the company is of choice, we will be looking at contract compliance to make sure. That's from Michigan Senior Advisory Council, as we are a part of the community, and I am a community and civil rights activist. I would like to have those questions answered, identifying the company, who's responsible for contract compliance, and are we using the same contractors, or did we choose a new one, and who's making the choices? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maxey. I believe this is Carlton Jones. Someone put you on here twice, I believe. I can't read the second name. Yeah, you may have been, but I'm thinking I'm sorry, say that again. Okay. Is it Rolando Rivera? Rolando Rivera.
Good evening. My name is Rolando Ibarra. I'm a music educator here in the city of Pontiac, but I'm here to talk to you today in favor of renaming the skate park to Roberto Duran Rodriguez Skate Park. Roberto was my cousin, and we were very close growing up. I grew up on 179 Nelson Street, which, if you know, is right in the middle of Aaron Perry Park and Oakland Park. I spent a lot of my time there as a young kid, going there with my cousins and my brother. And on top of those things, and on top of the many memories that we made together in Oakland Park, just as kids, learning how to run, learning how to play, those things eventually grew into skateboarding as a skate park was put there. Actually, we started skateboarding before the skate park was put there. And Roberto was the best of us. And not just the best of our friends or our cousins. He was one of the best to come from Pontiac, period. And unfortunately, at the age of 33, he passed away last year on July 31st. And since then, it's been hard to try to figure out what I can do to honor him. But I felt like making sure that his name was forever left on a place where he left his mark would be a pretty good way to honor him. Outside of skateboarding, he was a father, and he was always somebody who gave back to others and to the community. I think a lot of you all have seen me up here talking about different things over the past couple years related to the skate park project, but the way that I look at skateboarding and the way that I see it as a community work is in direct correlation to what I was taught from Roberto. I would see him get free skateboards and free shirts and free wheels and give them right away to people, because he would tell me skateboarding is about being out there with your friends. It's not about hoarding the things that we get from people. It's about making sure that everybody can be involved. And I think that the skate park we built embodies that. If you go look at it, there's stuff up there for everybody, from someone who's just starting skateboarding today to people who've been skating for decades upon decades. And I think that those things embody him, and I think it would be really great to name the park after him. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Antonio Rodriguez.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Tony Rodriguez. Roberto was my brother, my little brother, well known in the skateboard community, and I know that he would, I know he's looking down right now with a big smile on his face. Hopefully we can get this park, named after him. A lot of the kids in the community looked up to him, and he was a well-known skateboarder, from Pontiac. My father, he was a professional boxer from Pontiac. world class, ranked top 10 in the world over here. Our family, runs deep in Pontiac, and it would be an honor, on behalf of my brother. And, regardless if it happens or not, I plan on holding annual skateboard competitions on behalf of him to give back to the community, give back to the kids, And skateboarding's for everybody. It's a diverse sport, and it brings, blacks, whites, Hispanics, Mexicans, everybody together at the skate park. That doesn't matter when you're skateboarding, and I just would appreciate the consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Deirdre Waterman.
As we saw the wonderful children from our community who were honored and awarded, I want us to still remember we still don't have our youth recreation center that the emergency manager took away and that I got established again and then this mayor closed again. So I just want you to remember that, because when people have paid that millage, which they've been paying for 7 or 8 years now, the idea was to have our own youth rec center, okay? And that was a full day center weekends. So I love all the things that are going on, but just don't be complacent about getting that youth rec center here in town new. But what I did want to speak to was number C, I think you had it on the agenda, as well as number 55, and I'll tell you how those are, we connect the dots with those. Number 3 is the buyout you're giving to the HR director, so she won't file a lawsuit against the city. Something that I brought up a while ago, and it had to do with the firing of Eric Brim, the longest serving employee of the city of Pontiac in DPW. And he was fired all of a sudden, apparently.
Hey, Dr. Deirdre Waterman, that's not an item.
It is an item. No, it's number C on the agenda.
No, sir. No, ma'am. You can speak on that particular item, but you cannot take the time to talk about other business of the city. You can do that in public comment.
This is regarding to item C on the agenda. HR, C on the agenda, is the settlement buyout that's being paid to the HR director, former HR director, who was fired, so she won't be a lawsuit to the city.
You can talk about that item, but you also added another commentary on another position that's not on the item.
I am going to talk about the whole issue.
Listen what I'm saying, Doctor. I'm trying to be respectful, and we have given you grace for over 2 years. So please, just address the issue that you're talking about. But you also have the right at public comment to talk about anything else.
No, I'm addressing number C, and I'm addressing number 55.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. I don't know where I left off here, but Mr. Carrington, you're great, but I don't know why when I come up to speak, you always have to find something to interrupt the flow of the conversation. All right. Getting back to what I was talking about is that we brought this up at the time because related to the HR director who is getting the buyout. That's Angela Benitez. We brought it up at the time about Eric Brim. She was let go a few days after the firing of Eric Brim because he told us that she objected to the way this matter was being handled. So that's what happened. Now, this is 4 different HR directors. It's in this administration, including the consultant. The first one was let go, and was fired, and she was an outrage to me because she objected to people and the administration being allowed unauthorized people to look at personal employee records that are supposed to be kept confidential. So I'm just bringing up the point that
Please conclude your time.
well, you took part of my time here with that. Yeah. So I'm sure that that was done intentionally, but I will come and speak again. All right?
Thank you, Dr. Waterman. Actually, President McGinnis did stop your clock when I stopped you. Yeah. Thank you. Mr. Carlton Jones.
All right. First, I want to talk about the item that we had on here. It was number 5, but I basically want to commend to this presentation to what Tanisha Taylor did on that stress. That is the type of situation we really need to commend bringing to the floor. Because when we start talking about developing people for careers, the type of situations we run into with young people, that is the type of work we have to do to develop them in a position that they can probably be prepared to go into the work world. So I commend her for bringing that type of program to the forefront and having people from Pontiac work with young people. When we've got the people from Pontiac working with people from Pontiac to try to see if they can get on the right track, that's when we're developing ourselves. So I commend her for that right there program, and also the same one with those folks with the Black History program. When you start understanding who you are, where you come from, you're now getting centered to be able to be a viable part of society. But I wanted to speak also about the marijuana proposal, which is on the agenda for item for approval. I think we need to understand that that is an excellent piece that the council put in place to amend that that opportunity for amending the proposal so that we can get items in our city. But one of the greatest things that I'm listening to right now, the cities that are starting to have the reward for having marijuana facilities are now finding ways to improve their city without taxing their residents. They can improve parks, they can improve streets. These are the things that when you get the opportunities to start engaging that, we'll benefit from that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Chuck Johnson. Ms. Darlene Clark, what items? Okay.
We're at the agenda address portion of the. We haven't gotten to public comment yet. That'll be later on. Your name has not been called yet.
Good afternoon, Council Administration. This is directly to the President, Mike McGinnis, and Mayor Tim Grimal. I'm speaking about number 3. You having a meeting on the 11th for the housing. Please explain to the public of all who and listening ears, when you say all the structures in the city of Pontiac, give clarity. Are you talking about code enforcement or just all structures to be inspected? Because what is coming to a lot of residents are feeling, if you buy property and it's not rental and you have family in there, the city doesn't have a right to say who they can put in their homes or the upkeep of what's going on. It's in that owner's name. So please explain this to the residents so they can have clarity. Also, please, Council, again, I have to say this to you a lot, and it's getting closer than you think. You need to have your own representation in that chair over there. You have made multiple mistakes, multiple mistakes. And it's getting worse. It's not getting better. So my advice to you, as you pass these resolutions, as you pass these amendments, as you pass going into people's personal lives that's not renters, you need to take a second look at what's really going on. Mayor Tim Grimal is an attorney, and he's a politician. The two mixing together is a dangerous cocktail. So please, if you represent the people of Pontiac, as you say you want good for the people of Pontiac, get you a representation in that chair.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Ms. Gloria Miller. I'm sorry, Ms. Gloria Miller. Okay. Right. Okay.
I'm going to be short and brief. I just got 3 questions. Mayor, you seem to kind of read my mind. I don't call you before the meetings. The 3 million, Council President, I'm asking you this. because I'm not going to ask the mayor because he haven't told me. I asked him once. I'm going to ask you now, you as the council president. What is the fund balance for the recreation center that we, as a former council member, that we left of the $3 million? I want to know the amount of that, or where can I go and find it on the website? The reason I asked this because I noticed, was it last week or week prior to, the mayor had asked the deputy mayor for, you guys wanted to do a budget amendment for the youth programs. As you and I are aware, that is millage money. We're talking about the millage money, but I'm talking about in regards of the $3 million that the former council left. What is the fund balance in that fund? Thank you. That's all I want to know.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Ms. Stacy Williams, are you speaking to an item that's on the agenda, or because I put you at public comment? No, I'm not speaking on an item. Okay, all right, thank you. I just wanted to make sure. President McGinnis concludes agenda address.
Okay, and in no time will be a public comment where the good times can keep rolling. All right, we're at number 5 on the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
Moved by Carrington.
Is there a second? It's been moved by Pro Tem Carrington, seconded by Councilman Parker. This is a resolution to approve the first reading of an ordinance to amend the City of Pontiac zoning ordinance to amend requirements for adult-use marijuana retail establishments in designated overlay districts and caregivers. Any change to the city's rules or ordinances require 2 readings. This is the first reading. Mayor and city staff, you're up.
Thank you, President McGinnis. Now that we are through the referendum that occurred last Tuesday, we wanted to bring to City Council a couple of recommended amendments that the Planning Commission recommended be made to the zoning ordinance of marijuana, as well as to the caregiver ordinance for marijuana. And the zoning ordinance changes that were recommended by the Planning Commission include limiting the use of the color green on retail and other marijuana establishments. My understanding is that the rationale behind that is to avoid what folks see in certain other communities or along 8 Mile, where there's just massive and often obnoxious green covering marijuana facilities. I know that our city attorneys did identify a potential loophole in these amendments because it wouldn't necessarily regulate the color green in lighting, and I believe they proposed an amendment to the proposal before council to try to close that loophole, but I'll allow our planning manager, Mark Yandrick, to get into all the details, and we have both an attorney from Clark Hill here as well as an attorney from the Kelly firm here because they both worked on some of this language. And with that, Manager Yandrick.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. So I just have a brief presentation. This is a citywide, city-initiated zoning text amendment for adult use marijuana and caregivers amendments, text amendments, and it involves those sections of the code. Just a timeline and process. Planning Commission held the public hearing on November 1st, and if you recall, there was a first reading with City Council on November 7th. However, tonight this is being introduced as another first reading to City Council just because it's been so long and there's a few minor changes. And then in the future, hopefully next week, there will be a second reading on this item. So just as a background, the City Council adopted the Municipal Code Ordinance and the Zoning Code Ordinance in April last year regarding adult use marijuana and caregivers in the city. There was one referendum that was withdrawn that never made it to the ballot, and another referendum that made the ballot just recently on February 27th. But the original zoning language from Ordinance 2407 remains. Nothing has changed. That was not part of the referendum that was at the ballot. I just wanted to be clear to everyone on that. The city is proposing this ordinance tonight to restrict that green advertising consistent with the rest of the ordinance that is already in place for adult use marijuana establishments. So there are 3 items I'm going to highlight here that are proposed to be changed, and then I will get to the motion in just a minute. So number 1, it's prohibiting green of signage and the facade of adult use marijuana businesses. And this aligns with the existing ordinance that bans imagery and words that's related to marijuana, which is still federally recognized as a drug. So we do have the ability in that extent. And green is really considered an extension of the signage and protects the healthiness and aesthetics of that corridor. So, and then as I mentioned, staff requests a minor amendment this evening, which I will get to in a later slide. Number two is a result of caregivers, and this is something that was first adopted by the city last year in April, but there was not a restriction of size. We did allow this land use only in the industrial M1 and M2 zoning districts, but in second thought, there are many buildings that are thousands of square feet, and so a caregiver by state law is only allowed 72 plants, 12 plants for up to 6 patients. And so really the city's request here is to really restrict the caregiver size to 2,000 square feet per property. And that just aligns with those state regulations. You don't want a 20,000 square foot building having 72 plants because there's a lot of room for extra growth in there. And this really aligns with that restriction. And then finally, there's just some small cleanup language from the original approval. And I do have it mentioned here, upon the final motion back in April 2023, there were 2 things that were not adjusted, as you see in red there, that we're just asking to be adopted to align with the rest of the code. So this does not change the chart and all the motions the City Council adopted, but we wanted the rest of the language of the ordinance to be reflective of that. The one thing that was noticed, and this was actually by Planning Commission in section 3.1208, is buffer distance, is there's an old reference to residential dwelling units. This does not, an adult use marijuana facility does not need to have a certain buffer from a residential dwelling unit, but this reference still existed within the buffer distance restriction, so this is a proposal to strike that from the ordinance. And then lastly, when reviewing the facade language with Clark Hill and the Kelly firm, we were trying to identify loopholes. And one of it is, could a business use green lighting? Could they use green shading on a window to act as the facade? So there's a motion that is before you and that is up on the screen that specifically says the use of any shade of green either in the facade of the building or otherwise visible from the exterior of the building shall be strictly prohibited, including but not limited to the use of paint, lighting, window coverings, and other building materials. And this motion is to extend the green to items beyond that paint and facade. Again, it's a minor amendment in staff's opinion, working with legal, that City Council may consider a motion to adopt and does not require a public hearing because it's minor. So with that, Planning Commission in November recommended approval of the zoning text amendments with one condition regarding the residential dwelling unit that is before you. So with that, I'd be happy to entertain any questions you may have, and our legal team may be able to assist as well. So thank you.
Pro Tem Carrington.
Yes, thank you, President McGinnis. That's my first question, is the legalities of it. Since we already adopted these amendments, does this, if we make these minor concessions that you brought to us, does this give companies opportunity to actually challenge these amendments?
I'm going to defer this to our legal team. Okay. So Morgan McAtamney from the Kelly firm will be able to answer this question. Thank you.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Deputy Mayor. This is a great question. My assumption is you were asking about this specifically with regard to the previous referendums that have been filed, and your question is, if this were adopted, could a new referendum be filed that would then challenge the entire zoning ordinance?
That's correct.
So we have done extensive research on this topic. Our position is that only the portion of the amendments that are published are subject to referendum. So the portion of the zoning ordinance amendment that is in your agenda tonight, just these changes would be subject to the referendum. The zoning ordinance that has currently been adopted would not be subject to the referendum as a whole, so those would remain in place.
Okay. Follow-up question?
Yes.
So again, because you're talking like an attorney, and I'm still a little bit confused. So we just had, I'm seeing a lot of red on the documents that we was given. So all these items that are red can be subject to a referendum. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. Every single thing that is there that is going to be published as an amendment would be subject to a referendum. The currently existing language that is in the zoning ordinance that is not being changed would not be subject to a referendum.
So for example, if we go to Article 2, Chapter 2, Section 2.303, not more than, you cross out 8, you add 5, marijuana retailers are to be located in any one of the 4 adult use marijuana business overlay districts. So that's subject to a referendum.
Exactly right.
Okay, but the 5 was an amendment that the council made previously, is what you're saying. So this is cleanup language for those amendments that we made.
Yes, but because it was not actually published as such, the published ordinance is what is adopted, and because it was not published as such, it is not currently in operation. So we do need to make an amendment. We could consider a clerical adjustment if this is subject to referendum for just that issue.
Okay. I got a question that I want to ask the administration, and I guess my question is why this wasn't brought previously, since we already had approved these amendments, why this wasn't brought to us to finish this out?
Mayor Grimel, if you wish to be yielded to.
Yeah, I think it's a question probably for the city attorney who, our in-house city attorney, who had some questions about these amendments. But as I indicated, I think the intent was to make sure that the referendum that was on the ballot did not throw things into some chaos or uncertainty. So these amendments were recommended by the Planning Commission some time ago, but were never actually approved by City Council. And I think what Morgan is saying is that if there were a referendum, it would not be on the underlying ordinance of the zoning ordinance. And so the referendum would just be on these amendments such that the clerk could proceed on the basis of the underlying zoning ordinance, even if a referendum were brought, such that it would not delay the marijuana process and the scoring process.
Councilman Parker?
No.
Oh, okay. Councilman James?
Yes,
Microphone.
has the city attorney reviewed these?
Our in-house city attorney?
Yes.
I can defer to Ms. Gurley if you'd
Yeah,
like.
because I'd like to know.
Good evening, City Council.
Good evening. I'd just like to know what your concerns are in regards to the changes.
Well, some of the concerns that have been amended pretty much dealt with making sure that the titles were correct, that it included the adult rec as well as what the caregiver amendments were, and that was corrected. Also, that it would include lighting as part of the provisions as it relates to the color green, because as we know, green can come in different forms. So not only in signage, it could also be lighting, it could be multiple types of materials. So we wanted to make sure that it encompassed exactly what we wanted.
I guess what I'm concerned about is there precedent for these kinds of amendments? So, I mean, are other communities implementing this kind of an amendment, or are we the first ones and therefore possibly targets for litigation?
Well, we are one of the first communities to prohibit the color green. And
so it really hasn't been, something like a precedent that there are already court precedents that we can look at that say that, this is going to be okay.
Well, that's not an issue that has been put forth in litigation yet.
Okay. All right. The other question I had is on the caregiver changes, Article 2, Chapter 5, Section 2.2559. And it says, it's in red, so I'm assuming that this is new. It says a certificate of occupancy is now required. I'm glad to see that, but I just want to confirm that that is now going to be a requirement, that every caregiver will have to register with the city of Pontiac and get a certificate of occupancy.
We did review this. This is being added to this ordinance. This is part of this proposal. And while that is standard language, we wanted to codify that and make it official for caregivers, that a certificate of occupancy is required, and then that would allow also future inspections if ever need be.
Okay, is that the future inspections was my next question.
Absolutely.
How are these folks, how are they managed? I mean, how are we going about ensuring that a caregiver is only growing the amount that they are allowed and no more? If there are no inspections, then, you know, then these folks can be doing things improperly.
And from the city's perspective, getting the certificate of occupancy opens that window to allow for future inspections, whether there's a complaint or whether it's on a regular basis to assure compliance. And then our building manager would work with the state to ensure that that licensure that they have through the state is appropriate.
Okay.
Councilman Parker.
Thank you, Brother President. Now, let me just, because I'm somewhat confused. And my confusion lies in the fact that we approved an ordinance in the spring. We discussed it again in the fall. There was a referendum that came in the fall. We discussed it again. We put it on the ballot. They voted on the ballot, and now we're changing it.
Mayor Grima wants to take that one.
Well, only because there are two different ordinances. So this relates to the zoning ordinance, which was not subject to the referendum. The ordinance subject to the referendum is what's commonly called the business ordinance, if you will, that pertains to scoring. So the ordinance that is being proposed to be amended here, really two ordinances, one the caregiver ordinance, one the zoning ordinance. Neither of those were subject to the referendum that was on the ballot last Tuesday.
So there were two ordinances that were identified by the referendum by number. Was that the initial challenge referendum? Okay, so the one that was just rendered a verdict down by the voters of Pontiac, that was just the one. Okay.
Yep.
All right. For a second time, Pro Tem.
Yes, just one final question. So the recommendation, when it comes to the number of facilities or retailers, what was the rationale for that recommendation?
So the recommendation to change it from 8 to 5 only aligns with the motion that City Council made at the April 4th City Council meeting, I think, where this got adopted. And if it wasn't the April 4th, it may have been the week before. Really, and it was just a clerical error that this paragraph, which is elsewhere in the ordinance, was not amended to align with this.
So you are saying this is a first reading for an ordinance amendment. And you are saying since it was posted by the clerk and provided to council and the community, you caught something else, which is good. I'm glad you're shaking your head no. So why are you asking for a specific amendment related to lighting?
Wait.
She's shaking her head, so feel free to answer it. I'm trying to ascertain the keeping it neat and clean for the first and second reading. And I want to know what action I want to guide the council to take on the first reading as relates to the changes, the requirements for posting of ordinances for first readings, et cetera. So you have the floor to help clarify that matter.
Absolutely. That is a great question. So my apologies. I thought you were speaking to the paragraph that Councilmember Carrington was referring to. It is all of the highlighted portions in the ordinance that you guys have today are the request that has been made since or in the in-between time from when this agenda was originally posted to now.
So all of that is new?
Everything that is highlighted.
Okay. What would be the impact if we vote down this first reading resolution and allow you to reset it for the notification of the first reading? You know, I don't want to postpone it if it doesn't clean that up. I want that clean, crisp, and airtight. So legally, what's the advice to do that? We can do the first reading and then make changes in the second reading, but you've entered it into the mix for the first reading, so I need to know how to do that clean.
If this council chooses to vote no on this ordinance under the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, we would have to go back before the Planning Commission for another public hearing.
And so if it's postponed for 1 week, does that clean up and give the community an opportunity to get these and have it be airtight for the first reading requirement with the clerk's office?
That would be my recommendation, yes.
Clerk Doyle, when you do a posting in the newspaper of a first reading, it speaks to what is being read, not necessarily verbatim in full, right? Can you break that down for us?
Thank you, Mr. President. So I don't have to do a notice of the first reading. The notice comes after the first reading and prior to the second reading.
So you notify the community when it's going to be read for a second time, and what do you include with that notice?
A summary of the ordinance, and that council is considering taking action on the ordinance. So you can't take action on the ordinance until it has been published. So that happens in between the first and second reading.
Okay. So do you have any procedural concern if there's changes for the first reading? We're passing the resolution, acknowledging it being read for first time. The question really at hand is, what is it? What is being read for the first time? Is it what printed for the community? It's what's provided to council. I want to know what legally constitutes what is being read for a first time.
As this council was provided with the amendments prior to this hearing and you have read them, you can acknowledge that you have read them with the amendments.
Okay.
But I have a question,
Clerk Doyle.
Mr. President. So, Attorney Moore, I'm sorry, I don't know your last name.
McAtammy.
Attorney McAtammy. You mentioned that the numbers are off. So the numbers between the business ordinance and the zoning ordinance don't coincide, because it still says 8 in the zoning ordinance. And you said that could be a technical correction. So because if you make amendments to this ordinance, it could be subject to referendum. Is it possible just to make the technical corrections, so then that, as it relates to the numbers, so that's done and not subject to referendum, and then make the other additions, so where we can actually move the process forward?
Because the clerk's office applies and administers the regulation of marijuana in the city of Pontiac. So if the question starts getting contested about green restrictions, it wouldn't stop your ability to start the applications, do the sort of conditional approvals. There could still be difficulty, but it won't stop the whole party. Is that your sense from an initial review?
Right, but if there's an issue where numbers become an issue, that could stop the whole process.
Madam Attorney, what say you?
My only concern is that this amendment with that clerical change was published for public hearing at Planning Commission. And under the Zoning Enabling Act, the question is what was published for public hearing. I would request the opportunity to research this and give you a legal opinion next week.
Okay. Should we postpone this first reading for 1 week? Councilman James? Microphone.
I'm sorry, one more clarification.
Microphone.
I was just wondering in reading this, why, because it appears to be redundant, but maybe if you could help us to understand why you have two Article 2s, one that says signature or signage, and then signage is also included in the second one, exterior facade and signage. What's the difference?
That is a very good question. It's the way that the original zoning ordinance was drafted with those titles, and to make the zoning ordinance amendments that we are presenting exceedingly clear, we kept those titles and then made these slight amendments. If you'll notice, say for the adult use marijuana processor, that's Article 2, Chapter 5, Section 2.552. We're adding a paragraph 5. And for the next one, we're adding a paragraph 4. There are already existing regulations under those headlines, and we're adding an additional regulation under each of those headlines, just to make the regulations exceedingly clear.
Okay, it's clear, but I mean, is there a difference in signage and exterior facade and signage? Evidently, it originally was written up that way in the, in what you have available now, but I'm not clear. Does anybody know what the difference is?
No, she's talking about this section signage and exterior facade and signage. And the reason that that was done, if I recall correctly, is because there are incidents in which there is signage on the facade, and there are incidents in which there is signage that is separate from a facade. So if you have a street sign notifying or a billboard or something saying this business is here, and that's not physically attached to the exterior facade, then we are addressing that signage in the first paragraph, whereas with a sign that is physically attached to the exterior facade, we are addressing that in the second paragraph.
Okay.
So for the sake of the time, is it okay if we postpone this for 1 week? So it sounds like they've got to do some more research to give us some answers before we make our vote on the first reading?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion for postponement, but I also would like to request that information comes not the day of the next meeting, but get an email to the council before then.
Okay. It's been moved to postpone this item of the agenda, number 5, the resolution to approve the first reading for 1 week. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Carrington, seconded by James. Any discussion on the motion to postpone for 1 week? Anything finally that attorneys or staff want us to know about the motion to postpone we're considering? Any legal objections to the motion to postpone for 1 week? Okay. Hearing no further discussion, speakers is exhausted. Roll call, Clerk Doyle, on the motion to postpone for 1 week, number 5 on the agenda.
Parker?
Yes.
Carrington?
Yes.
Goodman?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
That motion carries. It'll be back before us next week. We're at number 6 on the agenda. Is there a motion to postpone this item for 2 weeks?
Moved by Carrington.
Is there a second?
Support.
It's been moved by Pro Tem Carrington and seconded by Councilman Goodman. This is adoption of an ordinance to amend the City of Pontiac Municipal Ordinance to amend licensing requirements for mobile food trucks and to regulate special events. This is to align with the related action item with this topic that we previously postponed for 4 weeks. So this postponing 2 weeks makes them line up together and allows for the final town hall meetings that the administration's been holding with the community so that we can get feedback and provide information to the community about these topics, can keep proceeding forward. We clear on that? Do we want to postpone it for 2 weeks so that way it comes back when the other one is set to come back in 2 weeks' time? Hearing no further discussion, roll call on adoption of the motion to postpone item number 6 on the agenda for 2 weeks. Clerk Doyle.
Carrington?
Yes.
Goodman?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
All right, motion carries. We are now at the new number 7 on the agenda. Pro Tem Carrington amended the agenda. It's a city council resolution requiring the mayor to get council authorization prior to pursuing new litigation involving city retiree benefits. Are you moving that, Pro Tem Carrington?
Yes, I would like to move it.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Seconded by Councilman Parker. All right, moved by Carrington, seconded by Parker. The resolution reads, whereas the ongoing legal and financial matters involving City of Pontiac retired employees' various retirement systems, structuring, and benefit plans have spanned many years and have played out in multiple legal forums, and whereas the City of Pontiac has been involved in related litigation for years and at various times filed complaints in the United States District Court against the Board of Trustees of the City of Pontiac Viva Trust, as one example, and whereas United States District Judge David M. Lawson ordered a denial of the City of Pontiac's motion for preliminary injunction, ECF number 5, against the City of Pontiac Viva Trust on February 29, 2024, though that has yet to be communicated to the Pontiac City Council by the administration. And whereas the City Council strives to ensure timely and favorable outcomes can be reached that are agreeable to all parties and advances the ultimate goal of providing adequate benefits for the city's past retirees while balancing the need for strong financial stewardship of the city's resources, now therefore be it resolved, the Pontiac City Council requires that the mayor of the City of Pontiac obtain prior authorization and consent from the Pontiac City Council before further new legal motions are filed related to the General Employees Retirement System, shorthand known as GERS, the reestablished General Employees Retirement System, the City of Pontiac VIVA Trust, the Police and Fire Retirement System, the City of Pontiac Retired Employees Association, known as CIPRIA, and all related past, present, and future entities. And further resolve, the City Council requests a closed session with the mayor and city attorneys to provide an update on this latest development of Judge Lawson issuing his opinion and order denying the City of Pontiac's motion for preliminary injunction. So that's what's before us for consideration. Pro Tem Carrington, do you want to speak to your motion?
Yes, thank you, President McGinnis. As we know from past administrations as well as this administration, we've been dealing with this retiree health care issue for probably 10 or 12 years, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, forgive me, but I definitely know it's over a decade. And the reason why I brought this is that sometimes as council, I definitely feel like I'm out of touch with what's actually happening when various parts of the litigates are talking, but yet it's hard to tell exactly who's pushing these envelopes and who's pushing the button to go into litigation. So for 2 years, I thought this was something that was very easy to get off the table. And 2 years, and we're going into our third year, and it's still on the table. And my concern is I don't want this to be another Phoenix Center debacle. When the administration decides that they don't want to stop litigating. So I asked this council to support this resolution, that we say enough is enough, it's time to get this closed, and so we can allow our retirees to go enjoy the rest of their retirement. And I know the $400 that was stated by the last administration was a political ploy. But if we wasn't going to support it, we should have said that when we first came into office that it was a political ploy and we don't support it. But it's been 2 years and we need to move forward. Thank you.
Further discussion on the motion?
Yeah,
Councilman
if I may, I just want to say I agree with Councilman Carrington. We've been playing with this way too long, and some of the times, even when we're at GERS meetings, some of the information is not discussed at that meeting, but we find out later. So I just need to be able to say, let's keep people informed, let's be transparent, let's move forward.
Councilman Goodman?
I want to concur with what people have said, because I should not be finding out information about cases that we're dealing with from the Oakland Press before I find about them from the administration.
All right. Mayor Grimm?
Yeah, I do just want to be clear that we did give council leadership a heads up that we were filing this action originally in state court. That was agreed to be dismissed by mutual consent of the parties, and it was refiled in federal court. And we did talk about this in closed session 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it's not as though this specific lawsuit and the motion are news to City Council. That was discussed in closed session several weeks ago.
Further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, the resolution is clear and understood by all council members. Hearing no further discussion, roll call. Clerk Doyle.
Carrington?
Yes.
Goodman?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
That motion carries. The resolution is adopted. We're at the new number 8. Is there a motion for the resolution to rename the city skate park as the Roberto Duran Rodriguez Skate Park?
Support Carrington.
Moved by Councilman Goodman, seconded by Pro Tem Carrington. All right, so that resolution in the packets, I'll read that as well. This is something that those community members that led this grassroots effort approached City Council and made this request as well. The resolution reads, whereas the City of Pontiac, Michigan, on an ongoing basis strives to acknowledge citizens whose life and accomplishments have had a profound impact of elevating and inspiring the community, and whereas the Pontiac City Council has the authority to commemorate a city facility, street, or other asset by means of a plaque, naming it after a person, or some other honor, and has previously adopted the policy by which such considerations would be made by the City Council. And whereas within the city's Oakland Park, in the GM Modern Housing neighborhood, there had been a grassroots skate park park established by community members, and it led to a successful community-led push for a city skate park to be funded and constructed. And whereas Roberto Duran Rodriguez lived in that neighborhood, was an active skater at the skate park, and was an integral part of the Pontiac Skate Park project that hatched the idea, advocated for its creation, secured funding, and saw the project through to successful completion. And whereas Mr. Rodriguez passed away on July 31st, 2023, at the age of 33, which is a tremendous loss for his family and friends, as well as the entire Pontiac community and the area's skating community. And whereas his surviving colleagues involved in the Pontiac Skate Park project have formally requested that the skate park be named in his honor, now therefore be it resolved, the Pontiac City Council formally names the city's new skate park as the Roberto Duran Rodriguez Skate Park, and further resolved, the City Council, on behalf of the entire Pontiac community, honors and celebrates the life, legacy, and positive impact of Mr. Rodriguez. And further resolved, the City Council requests the administration proceed with establishing appropriate signage at the site and updating future city materials or references to the skate park as reflective of the new name. So that is what has been moved and seconded, and now up for discussion. Any further discussion from City Council? Pro Tem Carrington.
Yes, President, I'd like to say that I do support this resolution. I had a chance to talk to some of the citizens within that area that actually were integral in making and getting this new skate park. So I'm definitely in support of this.
Councilman Goodman.
I want to say that I'm also in support of this. It's very important that we acknowledge the value that he had to the community, specifically in skating, and obviously people who will be there will very much appreciate, acknowledge, and learn and take so much from that. So I respect a hell of a lot the work that you put in to get this done, and I am more than happy to support you guys.
Mayor Grimley, you have the floor.
Yeah, I just want to echo those comments. This is a really fitting and touching tribute to someone who was a driving force behind the skate park in Oakland Park. And I was really touched by Rolando's earlier comments about the character of Mr. Rodriguez and what he believed in terms of the skate park being an opportunity to facilitate skating opportunities for people of all abilities and to really bring together people from different walks of life. And I think this is awesome.
Any final discussion? Councilwoman James.
Yeah, from what I've heard, and I'm just really just beginning to be familiar with Mr. Rodriguez, but I'm wondering if we're following the right process here. Has the Parks Director, been involved in this decision and in this resolution? Do we have all the right people involved so that once this is done, it's been done correctly, decently, and in order? So that's my question. Has this resolution, has Mr. Price seen this resolution, and is he aware
This went through
of the recommendation that was made?
This went through the Facilities and Property Subcommittee, since it's a city asset, maybe about 5 months ago. It's been quite a few months, and each month we check in on it. That does predate Mr. Price, the Director Price's time with the city, so he wouldn't have been in that initial conversation. But I'll defer to the administration about how much conversation has been had with past or present park staff.
Yeah, I don't know that Director Price himself has been involved in the conversation, but as I've already said, I think this is a really suitable and appropriate tribute. Naming things in the community is within the purview of City Council, and I think I don't think Director Price would have any objection to this.
Oh, I didn't mean that he would have objection, but I just want to make sure that we've touched base with all the proper groups before we actually take the action. And I'm not sure that has happened, but it's got my full support.
Yeah, so the Facilities and Property has delved into it, and we got feedback in part from Grants and Philanthropy, since they were involved in the sort of securing of the funds, the foundation that funded it, and they encouraged us to take action before the ribbon cutting that's slated for early May, so that way it's done in tandem.
Okay.
Any final discussion? And thank you for flagging that. We'll have further conversations with the Parks Division. Clerk Doyle, roll call on the resolution.
Goodman,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Carrington.
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
That motion carries. The resolution is adopted, and the city's skate park is hereby known as the Roberto Duran Rodriguez Skate Park. A round of applause in his honor.
Thank you.
Bless you. We're now at the new number 9 on the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution requesting the housing study timeline?
So moved.
It's been moved by Councilman Parker, seconded by Councilman Goodman. That is now before us. At last week's council meeting, we adopted a resolution similarly asking for the master plan process timeline in writing, and we're grateful that the administration provided that. We know a lot of work has been done on the housing study timeline as well, but we want to make sure that we've got the clear timelines and benchmarks for that important process. Mayor Grimel, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. As council leadership knows, and I think as has been discussed in one or more subcommittees, we're going to be bringing forward a proposed contract with the housing consultant to do the housing study next Tuesday on March 12th. That contract has mostly been reviewed, but I think legal is doing the final finishing touches on the review. We do have our Economic Development Manager, Deborah Younger, here with us this evening, who has been really driving this process for several months now. And I will allow her to speak if she'd like, but we can certainly provide a written timeline even in advance of next Tuesday's meeting. Probably the most suitable way to do that is in the council packet that will go out Friday. Manager Younger, anything to add?
No, I don't have anything to add. That is correct. The consultant has been advised that we wanted to update a timeline. I've been working with them to enhance the community engagement portion of the study, and as such, they put together a new timeline, and I have a call with them tomorrow to update that timeline, and I'll present it to you in the council package on Friday.
Thank you. Pro Tem Carrington?
Yes, thank you, President McGinn. Just one quick question. What is the requirement of city to notify the neighbors concerning the sale of the properties? Is it set on a certain footage from that particular parcel?
No,
that's only for zoning?
It's only for zoning.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Further discussion on the housing study timeline resolution? Hearing no, is that a hand? Councilman James.
Well, I was just wondering if this study, did we contract for the vendor to actually provide an executive summary of the study?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Typical in any study will be an executive summary. We anticipate there are many components, and we'll outline that when we present the contract next week.
Okay, thank you.
Any final discussion? Hearing none, speakers is exhausted. Roll call on adoption of the resolution requesting housing study timeline. Clerk Doyle.
James,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Carrington,
Yes.
Goodman.
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
That motion carries. The resolution is adopted. We're now at the resolution to schedule a public hearing for the sale of vacant city-owned parcels. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Moved by Councilman Goodman, seconded by Councilwoman James. This is scheduling a public hearing for March 19th, 2024, so the City Council meeting 2 weeks from now. It will be at 6 p.m. towards the beginning of the meeting, and the city-owned parcels that are up for consideration are on Blaine Avenue, 234 South Shirley Avenue, 66 Nelson Street, 268 Luther Avenue, 32 Bennett Street, 494 Bloomfield Avenue, on Luther Avenue, 85 Gillespie Avenue, and we have those parcel identification numbers spelled out on the resolution, but also in the resolution text as well. These are vacant city-owned parcels. Mayor and administration for background.
Thank you. This is part of the city's continuing effort to convey vacant city-owned parcels to private owners who will put these properties back into productive use, get them back on the tax rolls. We've done at least one round of these conveyances already. This will be another round, and we're really excited about this. As we've discussed at past city council meetings, we have a program for homeowners to purchase side lots adjacent to the home that they live in. That's been successful. But we also want to make sure that we're developing more houses on some properties, that we're adding to the city's housing stock. We have a proposal that will be coming before council next Tuesday to convey the Kennett Road landfill, which is another item that we've previously had a public hearing on. And again, this is all part of this. So expect more of these public hearings and batches of conveyance of city-owned property, because this is about making sure that we're getting these properties back into productive use for the benefit of Pontiac's residents. Manager Younger, anything to add?
I just wanted to make sure so that in the past we hadn't presented the actual descriptions of the lots. So the public now, I'm presenting them. They have 2 weeks. The formal presentation will be at the public hearing, but this gives advanced opportunity for residents to look at those lots. So officially, we're asking for them to be identified and approved at the public hearing 2 weeks from now, but I wanted to give the public the opportunity to see what we're talking to in advance and have 2 weeks if they have any concerns or issues. So just quickly, I want to just show you the lots briefly so you can see where they are. That's Blaine Avenue. So just so you can see where these lots are, so that you have an opportunity before the public hearing to react if you would like to react as a public. And I know you don't. And if anybody needs this, you can also email me and I'll provide it to you. Anybody in the public, if you need additional information, you can email me and I'll provide it to you by email. So this is the Shirley, I believe.
Shirley came before us. That was probably Nelson.
No, I'm sorry, Nelson. Sorry. I need my glasses on. So this is just so you can see, the public can see where the lots are. So again, this is just to give you an opportunity to see where they are, if you have any questions or concerns, and I'll present them again formally for the public hearing in 2 weeks.
And the game plan is that we'll share that information once more and then open up the public hearing so that way you've had yet another opportunity to be exposed to it.
Correct. And these are all proposed for side lots. We will be bringing in the future we're calling them side lots if we're selling them to a neighbor. If we are selling them for either residential or commercial, we're calling those redevelopment lots. These are all just side lots, but I will be coming back with some redevelopment lots for both housing and commercial uses.
So ladies and gentlemen, our neighbors in Pontiac, if you've ever been thinking about some slice of Pontiac heaven, vacant land, and you want to, it's next to your property or in your vicinity, please connect with the Economic Development Division here at City Hall so that way you can be in the mix and considered and learn what your options are.
Thank you.
Hearing no final discussion, this motion, this resolution sets the public hearing. Sounds like we know what the deal is. Roll call. Clerk Doyle.
McGinnis?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Carrington?
Yes.
Goodman?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
That motion carries. The resolution is adopted, and we'll see you at some public hearing fun on March 19th. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution approving the proposed budget amendment?
Moved by Carrington.
Is there a second? Support. Moved by Pro Tem Carrington, seconded by Councilwoman James. This resolution approves the proposed budget amendment for the current fiscal year 2023-24 to increase an estimated revenue in the following GL account: 212-000-532.000 OCSCMG Federal Grant Others, $133,646.09. Increase the appropriation in the following GL accounts: 212-813-818.000 OCSCMG Other Professional Service, $26,327. GL number 212-813-976.001, OCSCMG, Building Additions and Improvements, $107,319.09. GL number 445-815-976.001, Building Additions and Improvements, $9,057. GL number 445-815-977.008, Special Equipment, $133,249. And these budget amendments are for repairs at the Robert Bowens and the Ruth Peterson Senior Centers. This was discussed 2 weeks ago when we authorized the posting of the budget amendment. Mayor, administration.
Yeah, as you know, we have done quite a bit of renovations and improvements to both the Bowen Senior Center and the Ruth Peterson Senior Center, and these are budget amendments to ensure that there's adequate funding to close those projects out and ensure that contractors get paid. So with that, I'll turn it over to our Deputy Mayor, Kelfani Stevens, to talk about the details.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, as the mayor said, this budget amendment will allow us to have the money in the correct accounts in order to close out this activity. There are two things that I will say about this. One of them I may have said last week, and that is, for whatever reason, some of the money did not get rolled over properly. So it was rolled over on the account, but it was not actually, the money was not actually put into the right line item. So this is bringing the money forward to that right line item. But additional to that, there is also the fact that we knew we were going to be short some amount of money, and we are asking to bring forward that amount of money. The decision was made not to shortchange the senior centers, but to actually do the full renovations. And so that is about $100,000 in actual additional budget increase that we're asking for.
Thank you. Any final discussion? Again, we discussed this a few weeks back. In addition to approving the work itself many months prior, and the work is mostly complete. With that, hearing no further discussion, roll call Clerk Doyle on approval of the proposed budget amendment.
Parker?
Yes.
Carrington?
Yes.
Goodman?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
That motion carries. The resolution is adopted and our budget is amended. Is there a motion to approve the resolution to approve contract number 24-5047 for grant funding from the Michigan Department of Transportation for the reconstruction of the Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard Bridge and roadwork repairs along Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Support.
Moved by Goodman, seconded by Carrington, that we get $10 million to make some magic happen. All right, that motion is now before us. Mayor, you have the floor.
Thank you. As we discussed last week, we finally received the contract from the state of Michigan, from the Michigan Department of Transportation a few weeks ago. This pertains to the appropriation of $10 million by the state legislature. The state legislature appropriated those funds back last summer, and that budget went into effect October 1st, but we had been waiting for this contract for many, many months, despite following up with the Michigan Department of Transportation in the state every week or two. I again want to thank our state legislators, Senator Moss and Representative Carter, for their hard work in securing this needed funding for the MLK Bridge project. And to get into the details of the agreement and to talk about the need for City Council approval this evening, I do want to introduce our grant writer, Michael Martin.
Good evening. So like the mayor said, this resolution is to execute the contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation to receive the $10 million designated for the Martin Luther King Jr. Bridge between South Boulevard and Woodward. The earmark was sponsored by Brenda Carter, State Representative Brenda Carter, and State Senator Jeremy Moss. And this funding will cover the remaining design and engineering costs for that'll be used to construct the bridge and part of the construction of the bridge. And then the remaining funds to construct the bridge will be another earmark that's a federal earmark. That'll be in the amount of approximately $3.5 million that will cover the rest of the construction costs to reconstruct the bridge.
Thank you very much for that, and thank you for all of your work trying to get us to this point, as well as the team in many different departments that have worked to make sure that the city's doing our part to handle this business. Any further discussion on this very important priority? As the city council person for the east side where the bridge technically falls, the east side drivers and residents, those that literally live within steps of this closed bridge, the replacement cannot come soon enough. And as was quoted by me in the Oakland Press covering this issue, it cannot come a minute too soon. And you never know how painfully important a roadway is until you can't use it anymore. And I think that's been our experience with this particular important bridge. Pro Tem Carrington.
Yes, thank you, President McGinnis. Just want to know, I requested information concerning a temporary fix for the Martin Luther King Bridge. So I just want to know, has the administration actually got us any information concerning that?
Not yet. We're working on compiling that information. As I indicated last week, the information that we did have is dated, and we're working to get that updated.
Right. Thank you. No further questions.
All right. With that, speakers list exhausted. Roll call. Clerk Doyle, and you can call Councilman Goodman's name first, so that way he can step out and step back in.
Goodman? Yes. Parker?
Yes.
Carrington?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
Motion carries. Resolution is adopted. And thank you for your time tonight, Mr. Martin. Is there a motion to approve the resolution to approve the contract work for submission of task, ACA reporting, and 5500 filing?
Moved by Carrington.
Moved by Pro Tem Carrington, seconded by Councilman Parker. That motion is now before us. Mayor and Administration.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce our Human Resources Director, Melinda Durakovich, to talk about this agenda item.
Good evening. As stated previously, this resolution requests the City Council approves to engage Task as a company to facilitate and file the required federal reports for the City of Pontiac's employee benefit plans. This is a legal requirement that we do have to fulfill. If we do not get these filed, then we will be subject to fines and penalties. We are asking to enter into a 3-year contract with Task, so they will be able to to file and facilitate in a timely manner. Again, so we will not be subject to any fines or penalties.
Roger that. Any further discussion on the motion before us? Hearing no further discussion, roll call. Clerk Doyle on the motion to adopt the resolution to approve contract work for submission of task, ACA reporting, and 5500 filing.
Carrington?
Yes.
Goodman?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
McGinnis?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
5 yeas, no nays.
That motion carries. The resolution is adopted. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
We're at the final resolution on our agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution to approve the Planning Commission's 2023 year-end report in accordance with MCL 1.125.3819 of the Michigan Planning Enabling Act? Moved by Councilman Goodman. Is there a second?
Moved by Carrington. Support by Carrington.
It's been moved by Goodman, second by Carrington. Staff has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I want to give a lot of credit to our planning manager, Mark Yandrick, for ensuring that we're complying with every nook and cranny of the Michigan Planning Enabling Act, including the requirement for a year-end report. And with that, I'll turn it over to Manager Yandrick to walk through the year-end report and to ask for council approval.
Good evening again. So this is the first time that we're aware that the City of Pontiac is doing this, but as part of the Michigan Planning Enabling Act, we should be having City Council approve a resolution for a year-end report of all the activities of Planning Commission. So it's in your packet. For members of the public that are here tonight, we actually have copies on the back table. Feel free to take one home with you just to understand what our Planning Commission is doing when it comes to a lot of different development reviews. This is a volunteer board of 7 members of the community, and They had a very active year with 15, they met 15 times and reviewed many zoning text amendments, zoning ordinance amendments for rezonings, and development reviews. So Planning Commission reviewed this at their January 10th meeting and approved it, and we just would like City Council to adopt this. When it is adopted, we will post this on the Planning webpage, but again, it's important to see the progress that the city is making through our Planning Commission. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Aldrich. At this time, council is open for discussion. Any questions? Hearing none. Again, this is a year-end report that you guys bring to us. So it was moved by Goodman and supported by Carrington. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Carrington.
Excuse me. Do you have a question, Councilwoman James?
Just a comment that thank you for the report, and I especially appreciate the update that you guys did for the zoning map. I think that was just a great job, and we appreciate all the work that you guys are doing.
I will pass to my staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Continue with the roll call. Thank you.
Carrington.
Yes.
Goodman.
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
4 yeas, no nays.
Thank you. That resolution passes. At this time, we have public comment. It's 3-minute time limit. It's time that you can talk about anything outside of the agenda. So feel free to enjoy the 3 minutes.
First on the speakers list is Stacy Williams.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the time. My name is Stacy Williams, and I am a licensed professional counselor, and I wanted to share with everybody this evening about an upcoming mental health awareness summit that my practice will be hosting. As we know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it has been recognized as such since 1949. And this year we're hosting our 3rd summit. We've done it for the last 2 years. This year is our 3rd summit. It's going to be at UWM Sports Complex in Pontiac, Michigan on May 4th. We're going to bring in Mental Health Awareness Month with this event. Our goal and the mission is to increase awareness of the benefits of taking care of one's mental health into the community. We're going to be having events not just for the adults, but for the kids as well. Our keynote speaker is going to be Dr. Sabrina Jackson, and we're going to have a keynote speaker for our teens, as well as a host of wellness events to go along with that day. I want to share the information with everybody here. Last year, Mr. Mayor did come by and represent the city, as well as Councilwoman Melanie Rutherford was there. And so I have flyers that I'll put on the back just to share the information with everybody. And again, this is a free community event for our city. Thank you for your time. Oh, it's also in the booklet by Mr. Kermit Williams from the Kermit Presents. It's also listed in that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on our speakers list is Mr. Marcus Kelly. Turn your mic back on.
Oh, I just want to make sure everybody had their flyers. Marcus Kelly, founder of The Change Up, Justice Impacted, City of Pontiac resident, wrongfully convicted. While I was sitting in prison, I looked in the mirror, I looked at the scars as I was beaten unconscious before I went there. Still trying to get my orbital bone fixed, vision still blurred in that eye. Had to get my shoulders repaired, a case that we still fighting to this day, as I was a victim of ex-detective Mark Ferguson. While I was in there, I became an advocate for the full restoration of justice impacted people when they started feeding us food with maggots. Aramark Company. We did a hunger strike to get rid of them. I'm here today because I want to make everybody aware that under Michigan Article 1, subsection 9, it still legalizes slavery. It was never been abolished. And I realize that if you can convince a man that he's free, there's no end to the abuse that he would endure or even defend in the name of freedom. So I feel like it's imperative that we wake our residents up and rise up. I'm asking all of you, my councils, my councilmen, councilwomen, my residents here in Pontiac, that we advocate and stand in solidarity with me to strike that language out of our Constitution. Because anything that derives from slavery and involuntary servitude are fruits of a poisonous tree. You can't have criminal justice reform. You can't have prison reform. We can't have housing. We can't get rid of discrimination, and families cannot be enfranchised if everything is derived from slavery. It wasn't designed for that. And I'm a product of a victim of that slavery. And so when I look around, I listen to these young children talk about the segregation, back in the segregation days, and how they gave us Juneteenth. And we celebrate it, but it's like we celebrating our oppression. And I found it weird and baffling that that we never really knew that. But I want to raise awareness to that. I'm asking you guys to stand in solidarity with him. We have a panel this Saturday to bring awareness to that, and let's get our voters out.
Thank you. Next on our speakers list is Mr. Robert Bass.
Good evening, Robert Bass, Assistant District Council. First, I got a couple of things I want to say, but I want to thank Mr. Carlton Jones for the wonderful honors program they put on today, and the pastor of Newman AME Church. I also want to thank his partners that assisted with the program, and we really enjoyed ourselves. First, this is the Pontiac City Code of Ethics. This is y'all's Bible. I sent you a letter a little while ago, and that letter has not been answered yet. And I pulled the Code of Ethics to see that I was on good footing before I sent you the letter. So I would hope that somebody would send me an answer to the letter that I proposed to you, because to me it's a serious issue. I'm concerned that it's a serious issue, but it continues to happen. It's not just one time. It's happened before, but some never made it here. So, but at any rate, my last thing I want to ask is, I want to know from not only the council, but from the mayor, that land sale that you had last week and development agreement, the way that it was done, is that going to be our standard operating procedure? Because it never came to us in the community, in our section of the community, and it also did not go before planning. So why the jump? And I understand the land sale, but the development agreement at the same time, that's problematic, and in our opinion, because one, we didn't know about it until the night before the meeting. So thank you so very much for your time.
Next on the speakers list is Mr. H. Bill Maxey.
Excuse, the sidewalk hit my knee. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Pontiac, governance. This report is from Michigan Senior Advisory Council. This is a 2-month report. Number one, fast forward. I hope I'm able to get through. Fast forward, we were able to get heaters for our seniors who was out of heat January and February. Majority were seniors, and that's for the month of January and February. We have a few young folks who had problems. The second part of it, we have been to court. We have been to courts 3 times with seniors in the high-rise Phoenix that were wrongly facing eviction. As a result of that, prior to that, we were able to meet community relation with the mayor, hour and a half, and code enforcement, and make sure for the first time we had an ordinance covering escrow. We had an ordinance covering that. So now, to all you seniors, anyone listening, you do not have to pay your landlord. I won't go into the extreme cases. This is what I'll talk about on Thursday night. Fast forward and backwards. Rats, roaches, holes in the walls. We were able to get exterminators with the help of court enforcement. And out of the mayor's office, that we had 16 citations. I can't speak for the mayor, but as far as the Michigan Senior Advisory Council, we are taking them to court. See, our seniors and our young people, depression is the #1 health issue. Don't you all understand that? You got to get healthy and security. Healthy-minded before you do anything in the city. Next part, I'll leave that. Now fast forward to OSA. We have new monies. Listen, seniors, community at large, approximately $580,000 for home repair. You'll have to come to our meeting on Monday to get the details. The sad part of that, flip the coin, between the 21st and 25th, we have $5 million. Our citizens didn't know it. I was asked to join housing or to be the coordinator, found out that 247 homes, most not in Pontiac, not a one Pontiac resident, but I guarantee you now, I'm on the commission, we'll know about it. We will know about that, and it's ridiculous. But so far, we'll have the report every month. And again, thanks to code enforcement, community relations, that's what I'm after. That's what I do. We will have everything in order. As of tomorrow, quickly, let me say this. One of my young folks, $4,700 down payment on a rat hole. And after a month, it was called in, we found out. They were told, I'm on vacation, I'll get with you, $1,400 a month. You wonder why our citizens don't participate? Don't you understand? People have problems, depression. Our young folks and our old folks, older folks, I put it that way. So I'm interested in what the other initiatives are. Everybody got their expertise. Mine, the civil rights, code enforcement, EOE, and you name it. And thank you, Mr. Bass, for being here. Thank you, Mr. Jones, who's our latest member. He's over 55, and you've been with me about 70 years, so I'd make us. Thanks for the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maxey.
Mr. Cameron Blunt.
Mr. Maxey. Drop this. Hello, how y'all doing? My name's Cameron Blunt. I'm here to talk about 2 issues real quick. I'm just giving an update on 451 Ferry Avenue and the building I talked about in the previous council. I talked to Councilman Carrington and the mayor, and also my district, Mike McGinnis. They have did the code reinforcement as far as getting the building secured, cutting the grass, and I guess it's not becoming an eyesore, so I want to thank y'all for that because it's been over like a year on that building because it's a business street, so it's really an eyesore, but they cleaned it up. Also, the second issue I'm talking about is not an issue, but success story. I don't know if y'all know what Project Upper Mountain is in Oakland University. Anybody know? So we've been celebrating 50 years. We have 4 students that's going to D.C. to lobby for the program, which I'm alumni of. Been working professionally 12 years, and I'm an alumni. We had a $3.5 million grant for the students at Oakland University. I know we had a lot of students here. Antonio was actually one that was going. He's part of the Ascend Foundation as well. So I just wanted to highlight that. And thank you for your time.
Next is Ms. Jackie Curry.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jackie Curry, and I am the engagement specialist for Nation Outside for all of Oakland County. I'm here to ask the City Council to have a resolution declare April of 2024 as a second chance month in the city of Pontiac, which you all know that we are voices for the formerly incarcerated. And I'm going to pass this out to you, and we would like for you to put this on the agenda. We would like for you to declare April as a second chance month for the city of Pontiac, and I'm going to pass this out to you, if that's fine. And that's all for me right now.
Next on the agenda is Mr. Robert Cavan, Jr. Did I say it correctly?
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Good evening, Mayor Grimal, Deputy Mayor Stevens, council members, community members. Again, my name is Mr. Robert Cavan, Jr. I'm Executive Director and founder of Seize the Moments, Inc. We are a nonprofit organization that help young men ages 18 and over to help them with their life skills and educational skills and get them employed. I'm here today as a follow-up for the job fair that I presented last Thursday. I have flyers I've passed out to everyone. We have this job fair scheduled for Saturday, March 9th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. My company, again, Seize the Moments, Inc., Green Shield Deck Builders. They're the #1 deck building company. They're partnering with them. We're hiring 30-plus individuals that meet the qualifications, preference to veterans and women, and for formerly incarcerated. I have Ms. Jackie Curry here, as she presented earlier. Nation Outside is a partner, as well as Voting Access Action Coalition. So all four of us are working together. Governor Whitmer announced yesterday that this week is Women in Construction Week. This is Women's History Month. I'm a project engineer. I've been in construction for more than 24 years. I'm encouraging every woman that's interested, want to learn about skilled trades, come out to our event. We're going to be training. These are entry-level positions, however, with room for advancements, $20 per hour plus benefits, and again, advancement opportunities. We're going to be at Prospect Missionary Baptist Church. Pastor McDonald has graciously allowed us to present at his church and use that as a vessel as we saw the young people. And I'm so excited to be a part of an initiative, and this is ongoing. This is not going to be a one-time job fair. I hear about workforce development all the time. And I know Mr. Carlton Jones, he will be there. I'm working with him and TDC. But we are about moving the needle with jobs, livable wages so people can buy not just affordable homes, but market rate homes. Not just, just getting by, but be able to take vacations and have a real impact in this community, economic. So we're going to move through Oakland, then next to Macomb, Wayne County, and we're going to continue throughout this state. But I appreciate the city of Pontiac. I look forward, Mayor Grimal, any council members, if you're available, please come out this Saturday, March 9th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the CEO of Green Shield will be there, as well as many of his staff members. Thank you. God bless you all.
Next is Renee Beckley.
saw that you passed the money tonight for that Martin Luther King Bridge, but that bridge closed in 2022. I believe Haley was here that fall, 2022, saying that she had the money. I believe Brenda came shortly afterward or right before Haley came in. So you sat on the money for about 2 years. And as I'm saying, I'm concerned about the timeline. So taken from the article, it was 2024 it was going to be fixed. This is 2024. Then I heard maybe about a few months ago, like the end of 2023, it's going to be fixed in 2025. Now the newspaper, Oakland Press, written by Ed McNichol about the bridge, says it's going to be 2026. That's 4 years waiting for a bridge to be open. The trains are still running under it. And then the engineer guy told me, well, why would the train be running under it if it was that hazard? They wouldn't be running under it. Also, that is the gateway to a major hospital in Oakland County. Well, St. Joe, now Trinity Health. So the people, the ambulance and everything have to go all the way around. And you're going to have that closed for 4 years. I think the process was stalled for some reason. I don't know why, but that money was here. That should have been top priority. You tore up woodwork for M1 concourse. Well, everybody get their hands greased, but that I will say that. I'm not liable. Look it up on the Oakland County financial website. These people got paid by M1 concourse, most of them. So, going back to that bridge. I mean, I don't know why you delayed that process. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You know, to go by there and you have to go all the way around. You know, from Woodward, I go to the bank down there and they have to come way back this way. And then, I live the northeast side. So it doesn't make sense. What's going on with our money? What is going on with our tax dollars? What's going on? Every time I come in here, this is being transferred, that's being transferred. And then the people are saying statements like, oh, we don't have money for this and money for that. And really, when that community center comes ahead, you're really going to be in trouble. But that bridge, I mean, that should have been, soon as Haley dropped that $10 million here, soon as Brenda left this podium or whatever Jeremy did, that should have brought in action. That bridge should be halfway completed by now. 2026, 4 years, really, Tim.
Next on the speakers list is Ms. Rosalind Northcross.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. I'm the chair of the Neighborhood Association for District 1, and as the weather warms, we are very thankful that the city will be monitoring the noise from M1 on a regular basis. This is the first time since 2016, and we are very happy about that. This Saturday, on March 9th, Code Enforcement will be sharing the city's plan for regularly monitoring the sounds from M1 at the Neighborhood Association for District 1's Saturday meeting, 1 p.m., Kappa Center, 200 Earlmore, and you're invited to come. Residents who hear disturbing noise from M1 should be calling Code Enforcement, and the number is 248-758-2820. Every resident whose well-being has been negatively impacted by the noise from M1 should speak up and speak out by calling Code Enforcement, 248-758-2820. Although District 1 has been spearheading the request to lower the noise from M1, I am encouraging all residents of Pontiac who are being negatively impacted to contact their city council person. And by all means, call Code Enforcement. 248-758-2820. I am also impressed by the young people that we heard tonight from the STRESS program and from Pontiac United. I want to congratulate them as well as their leaders. And I'd like to leave you with this thought, this quote from Frederick Douglass. It is easier to raise a good child than to correct a man who's made a mistake. And that's a paraphrase, it's not a direct quote. But if we take care of our young people, we won't have so many returning citizens and other people with problems if we invest in our young people. And I'm glad to see that we're doing that. Thank you.
Dr. Deidre Waterman.
Council, it's been 2 years now that as all new council people together, you have now begun to exercise your voice, as we see. The last number of city council meetings, you have demanded from the administration that they give you a status report on the progress of things that they have been promising, but you want to know why they haven't moved along. And tonight we heard one of those that you then took the reins and said, Councilman Goodman, said you were disappointed that you were finding out not things from administration that you should know, and that's why council took it in its own hands, the resolution to forbid the administration from stretching out another lawsuit. The last one that's gone on for, almost 2 years, and it's just sad that in all this time, the proposal that I made to increase the monthly pension benefits for our retirees by $400. It might be less now because of all the money that's been spent for the last 2 years on lawsuits and legal fees. But at any rate, I left a proposal, and I have 2 town halls, actually. I have the dates, April 14, 2021 and October 19, 2021. I've asked them to put those back up on the website so people can see the proposal established a roadmap for how our retirees could get those increased benefits. And it's sad that, they could have gotten them within a few months of the health care being established, which they got their cards the last month of my administration. And now they've lost 2 years of benefits they could have had. And at $300, $400, that's $7,000 or $8,000. And it's just objectionable that that has happened. I didn't know I'd have that much time to discuss that at this agenda. So I did put on the Spirit of Pontiac Facebook page that I have. I did put down there the whole scenario, as well as I can look up the proposal that was originally presented by my administration that I hope now can be put in place. But the other things used to be pushing on is the ARPA money. What's happening with that ARPA money? It seems to be all messed up. So few people were able to get even applications for the $25,000. And if you want to support homeowners and taxpayers, why aren't you doing that? And also, there was also a plan which the Economic Development Department took applications for 2 months ago for grants for the small business people, $75,000 for Pontiac-based businesses with residents here. And nobody's heard anything about that, even though that was supposed to have been announced over a month ago. So I want you to keep pushing, start getting answers, because people deserve not to know what's happening with that money, and make sure that they don't take out another $10 million like the administration tried to do last year when the budget time, okay?
Next on the speakers list is Pastor Kathy.
Getting harder every year. Number one, a sign magically appeared on Perry Street in our district, District 5, that has to do with redistricting. And I don't remember ever hearing that here. Don't remember what it's about, don't know what it's about, but it's a pretty good sized sign. You can't miss it when you drive up Perry. And I'd like to know what that's concerning. Last week, I mentioned the fact that the building that I live in has quite concerned about the fact that they haven't been able to be inspected in 8 years, even though they have prepared for it for 8 years. And I have not heard anything from the administration on that, and I would like something to take back to them, please. The essay contest is just fabulous. I'm an old English teacher. I love the fact that kids are writing again, because most of them don't know where a period goes, more or less how to write an essay, and the fact that they're doing it again is just wonderful. It makes me very happy. There were a couple of 3 articles on Google today about the city of Pontiac. They weren't very complimentary. You might want to look at them and see about at least doing something about them. And finally, this marijuana ordinance thing that we keep messing around with now for how many years? While the cities around us are making money and paving roads and all the things we hear about every week with the tax dollar from it, whether I'm pro or anti-marijuana is not the issue. The issue is it's a fact, and yet we don't do anything. And people will come to me and they say, didn't we already vote on that? Didn't that what we asked about tonight? Didn't we already vote on that? It looks to the people as though we vote, you don't like the reaction, or the city or the state, somebody doesn't like the reaction, so we change it and we vote. And then they decide there's a loophole or a glitch, and we go back and we vote. But nothing ever happens. I know you get the same questions, but it's getting difficult to give answers that make sense. And tonight's mess did not make sense at all.
All right, thank you.
Next on the speakers list is Carlton Jones.
Right. No, I don't think I'm last, though. Let me just follow up on that, what Desiree was talking about. I think that Councilman Carrington, I think you was hitting on something today, but I think we're afraid to go there. Sometimes we hire these professionals and we don't want to call them when they're not doing a good job. If they're not doing a good job, we got to call a spade a spade. But I think we're afraid to do that. The number of things we're going back doing over and over with that, and we got hired people we paying top-notch dollars for, and they can't get it right. I'm not going to beat it, but that's something that we have to address, because that's where we're getting in trouble. I want to say something else. You hear Sister Northcross coming down here talking about this noise. I already know what the meter going to say. If you listen to the residents, we're going to tell you what the meter's going to say. We don't care what the meters say. It's a problem. And we got to address the problem that you hear the residents saying. We talk about sidewalks. That's an issue. Don't let somebody say, well, we ain't doing it. What's an issue? The bridge. Mayor, I'm going to say this to you. I understood about the money, but I'm going to tell you, it's almost like you got a house and your roof is leaking. You don't fix that roof, your whole house is going to be torn down. Now, but I'm saying this because if we don't act proactively to at least do the engineering, and then the money comes, because now we're going to have to wait another year to do the engineering of what needs to happen. And I'm not going, it's just a mindset. It's a mindset we have to change to say we're going to be proactive of something that's affecting the residents. Let's take the money from somewhere, do the engineering, then we'll see when we get the money to get it done. But now we're going to wait till we get the money. And now we're going to say, well, okay, now we're going to take another year to get the engineering. Then we're going to take another year and a half to 2 years to build it. And it's down like it don't affect nobody. I want to say this because I'm here for some good news. TDC, we had our history makers today, and we've got 10 history makers in this city that we acknowledge. The mayor was there and did a fantastic job of supporting what TDC was doing, and hopefully he will make mention of the 10 history makers that was highlighted today. At the same time, we was highlighting the fact that Newman Church, one of the great histories of our city, is the oldest black church in Oakland County and Pontiac. It's a piece of history. And the pastor over there is very excited about how she can be engaged with this city, and we want to try to everything we can to highlight good, positive things that we know of historical about our city. So I want to say I appreciate the mayor coming over and doing a welcome. We had the county out there, and we had the state representative, county representative, and I'll speak more of it, but I'm going to give the mayor opportunity to share with you all. Council people who got the acknowledgement couldn't make it, I appreciate you saying that you at least was acknowledging it. Thank you.
Next up is Darlene Clark.
Once again, good afternoon. Mayor, please, Mayor Grimer, please, with all due respect, the public come to you for answers. They come to the council for answers too. But in some of the questions that the public seem to want to talk about, you don't want to seem to address in your closing argument. It's very noticeable for the people who's listening, it's word in the street that you do not want to address a lot of them. But in being transparency and trying to fix a problem, you have to stand on truth. And truth is going to be the guideline in order for us to move forward in the city of Pontiac. So by you not answering the question, you're leaving it not as confusion, you're leaving as to, are you the cat or are you the mouse? The first question I need you to answer is that first, the last administration or the last council left $3 million for a community center. Can you please answer where that money is at? And being transparency, Ms. Renee brought up a good point about the length of time that bridge is down. Many of our Pontiac people have died having to go all the way around that bridge. The question is this: what is on this bridge? What is attached? Is it just the Martin Luther King Bridge? Is the holdup, or there's rumor that there's the University Bridge too that was put in with the Martin Luther King Bridge, and that was really your delay in not getting the money? Or the delay was that you did not fill the paperwork out correctly in order to get a speedy recovery to get this bridge open. And I bring this to your attention because it's very important for the traffic that go in and out of Pontiac. You're killing people who needs to get to that hospital. Another question I have for you too, Mayor, that you need to answer. I have a document in front of me. You're speaking of the GERD, and this is why I say to you, Council, you need to get more involved. Because if the city of Pontiac have court dates, you guys as council members should know those court dates, especially Mr. Parker, to understand that he has the right to attend those court dates if it's an open forum. The judge welcomed anybody from the city of Pontiac to attend. He don't care. But in being transparency, in the month of February alone, 17, I have the paperwork right in front of me, there have been 17 filing, summons, you name it, activities on a new case. The problem is that it's not that he's not accepting the answer from the old case, so he tries to open up a new case. But here's a question that I need to go to you, Mayor. Why is it that you constantly want to go to downtown Federal Building when you can easily go back to Circuit Court and try to come up with a solution, amendment, or whatever you choose to do to work it out with Circuit Court? These people, not only have my people have died, the people that have fed me, clothed me, and my mother died waiting for some money that she earned rightfully. So, Mayor, instead of you trying to prolong the situation like the past mayor did, you're only killing more people.
Last on speakers list is Gloria Miller.
Okay, I'm glad I'm the last because I spoiled the whole evening. I come for business. I don't sugarcoat things when I come down here because everybody in the city is not lolly-da and having a great time. They're having a hard time. And Mr. Maxey and Bass and all of us out in the street, we know this. So I come with serious business. First of all, I want to acknowledge many of you out in TV land, Miss Beatrice Wright, Miss Beatrice Woods. She used to come down here all the time. Mm-hmm. She passed away. And of course, we know Eric Johnson. I bring those two up because they came down here with me a number of years. 15, 20 years ago, they was kicking butt at this podium. I miss them. I'm going to miss both of them. And I guess at some point their funeral is going to come up next week. So, but I did give them their flowers while they're alive. That's one thing about me. I'm not phony. If I don't like you, you're going to know. If I do, you will know that too. With that being said, I'm going to go first where I want to start. I'll start with the bridge. You know, I've been talking to the mayor about that bridge for over 2 years. Now, this is where I'm at. I want the lieutenant governor to come down here. It's unacceptable for us to go to 2026 for a bridge. I ride down there. My mother lived on Martin Luther King. Every day I have to turn, split. It is a nightmare. When we got money all over the place, I see bridges. I was in Macomb County yesterday. They just booming. They bridge, they got everything they want. Is it because we don't get the money, or is it courts who running the ship? See, this is what I'm wondering. And I know for a fact, because I come to the meetings, and I've been coming from day one since you've been here, Mayor, you had $10 million before the state gave you anything. I got that on tape. So we have $23 million. So what happened to the other $10 million? When the mayor first got here, he had money. Now, with that being said, Pontiac is too small for this. Everybody knows what's going on. Now, I'm going to bring up GERS. Melanie spoke well of it last week. She know how this thing works. One thing she does know, because you don't get this stuff working, anybody that's running, you're going to be in trouble. Okay? You didn't give the people, you ran on, you're going to give the GERS people their money. You're doing the same thing the last mayor doing. See, I don't dislike no one. I like Mayor Waterman, but she did the same bull that you doing. You stalling. And I'm just wondering how long council you're going to sit there and let him stall. Because the judge, I was there August, he said the case was over. Go back to the people, which is GERS, and let them vote on what they want. That's their money. You can't do anything with it. It's ours. It's just sitting there gaining interest. It's bull. And people are dying for this. Greed. For the love of greed is what got our country where we are today. And I just thank God every day I wake up. With Ms. Woods gone, with Eric gone, I said, you know what? Only what I do for Christ gonna last. I gotta keep reminding myself of this, because everybody ain't trying to go to heaven. That's why I don't stand up for the prayer, because this room don't need no prayer. Are you kidding? The minute we pray, we at each other. We're lying. We're deceiving the people. We're not telling them the truth. And I keep telling people out there in this TV land, they tell me everything that goes on. I keep mentioning Mr. Nicholson. He at the bar. He's running his bar. And you guys are sitting there and voting him absent. That's wrong. Call it what it is.
Despite the outburst, that does conclude public comment.
Thank you, Councilman. And thank the community for the public comments. At this time, the City Council communications, I won't actually go over what's on the agenda, but I would like to ask for a point of privilege just so I can reiterate a couple of events coming up pretty fast. Modern Day Slavery Hidden in Plain Sight Forum, Saturday, March the 9th, 2024, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at New Bethel Missionary Baptist Church, 174 Brand Street, Pontiac, Michigan. Also, a job and career fair this Saturday, March the 9th at 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 351 Prospect Street, Pontiac, Michigan, 48341. A water affordability program. Is it a forum or is this? I
believe it's a flyer.
Okay. It's a flyers that we have that you can get up to $3,000 for OSHA's water affordability program. Please contact. The number is 248-209-2600. So again, the council communications is on our agendas, and you can find that on our website. At this time, the mayor communications.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. I want to again emphasize, as I've done in the past, that we've got lots of really great youth recreation and enrichment programs. So please, if there's a young person in your life, sign them up for these wonderful opportunities. Again, everything from 3D printing to tutoring to robotics, boxing, digital content, singing class, kickboxing, baking classes, mentoring. all free of charge. So please make sure you enroll your young person. We have had thousands, literally thousands of young people in our community enroll in these programs over the course of the past year and a half, and they're really wonderful, wonderful programs. You heard a lot tonight about the STRESS program, again, which is all about investing in the emotional and mental health of our young people, but we've got programs all across the spectrum of activity, and no matter what the young person in your life is interested in, we've got something for them, I guarantee it. Also, we've had two town halls now regarding the proposed amendments to the mobile food vendor and temporary use ordinances. We had one yesterday here in City Council chambers. We had another one this morning at Central Multicultural La Familia. And the third town hall in this series is this Thursday, March 7th, from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the Bowen Center. So come on out if you're a food vendor, if you're someone who is interested in putting on temporary events in the city, or if you're just a concerned citizen, we welcome you to attend these informational sessions. We want to hear from you. Also, another reminder that we've got a City of Pontiac Purchasing Division Supplier Connect event coming up. These events are all about informing local City of Pontiac business people about opportunities to contract with the city. We want to make sure that as many local vendors are getting these contracts as possible. The next one is Friday, March 15th from 5 to 6 p.m. right here in City Council chambers. There's another one next month, Friday, April 19th, from 5 to 6 p.m. here in City Council chambers, and then an additional one the following month in May, Friday, May 17th, from 5 to 6 p.m., again here in City Council chambers. So come on out if you're a local business interested in doing business with the city. Speaking of youth recreation, we have our second annual Spring Bash and Egg Hunt on Saturday, March 23rd, 2024. That is coming up just in a couple weeks here, and that's going to be at United Wholesale Mortgage. So we hope you make it out for that family-friendly event. And then again, please look at the city's website, the website of the 50th District Court. There are lots of job openings, and we want to hire as many Pontiac residents as possible. So if you see a position that's of interest to you, please apply for those openings.
Thank you, Mayor Graham. At this time, Mr. Clerk, do you have any closing comments? I'm sorry. I'm going to go to the mayor first for closing comments.
Yeah, thank you. As I do every week, I try to answer all the questions that are posed here at City Council, and I try to be very diligent about answering all of the questions that come up at City Council meetings. I want to again say, as I've said at past meetings, that the $3 million set aside by the previous City Council for the Youth Recreation Center is still in that set-aside fund. So that $3 million has not gone anywhere. It's still there. The estimated cost of the Youth Recreation Center far exceeds that $3 million, which is why we have set aside millions of dollars of ARPA funds for that senior center, and why we are actively in conversations with foundations about adding funding for the senior center as well. But that $3 million, as I've said many times before, is still in that designated reserve fund for the purpose of the Youth Recreation Center. Regarding the Martin Luther King Bridge, again, this is a hugely expensive project, estimated at between $12 and $15 million. That is not money that the city just has sitting around. So we can't do that project until we get that funding in hand. We can't get that funding in hand until we get the contract from the state. We got that contract from the state a few weeks ago. It was approved by City Council for the city to enter that contract, and it was strongly recommended by our grants department, by our engineering firm, that we hold off on even doing the engineering for that project because we didn't know exactly what process for engineering or bidding would be required by the Michigan Department of Transportation in exchange for getting these funds. These funds were not delayed due to the University Drive Bridge, which has literally nothing to do with the MLK Bridge. It has nothing to do with paperwork other than us waiting on getting the contract from the state of Michigan for the $10 million. Congresswoman Haley Stevens was referenced tonight. She has nothing to do with that $10 million. She has been working on getting an additional $3.5 million from the federal government, but that bill hasn't even passed Congress yet. Again, that was the budget for last year, which still has not been passed by the federal government, by Congress. Once that budget is passed, and we're hopeful that that will be passed in the next few weeks, for those of you who have been following federal government news, we do anticipate getting that $3.5 million thanks to the hard work of Congresswoman Stevens. The $10 million is thanks to our legislators' work, but that $10 million is not here at the city yet. Now that we've signed this agreement, they will start dispersing those funds. The $3.5 million that Congresswoman Haley Stevens is working on, not only has it not been passed by Congress, but it is not in our hands yet. So none of that $13.5 million has come to the city. I want to reiterate that. If it were already here, we wouldn't be voting on a contract tonight. But again, we can't do the work of a $12 to $15 million project until we have the funds to do that work. I've said that many, many times at these meetings. But there's no subterfuge here. There's no trying to delay this. We have been in a huge rush to get this project off the ground, which is why we've been contacting the federal government and state government regularly, asking for this contract from the state government. Finally came a few weeks ago, reviewed by our attorneys, approved by City Council tonight. We're very excited about that. But now we can finally commence engineering work and ultimately construction work. There was a question also posed about the rezoning of a property on Perry Street. And we instituted, in the interest of being more transparent, we instituted new guidelines that require anytime there is a rezoning proposal that that property, at the expense of the owner seeking the rezoning, must put out a sign so that people know that there is a proposed rezoning request making its way through the process. That is what that sign on Perry Street is in regard to. We also have expanded the distance for neighbors to be notified of rezoning requests so that more neighbors further away from a property are notified of that. This rezoning request would rezone property to C3 category, and it made its way through the Planning Commission already and is going to be coming before City Council soon. And I believe that answers all of the questions that were posed this evening. If I missed anything, please feel free to follow up with me offline.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, Clerk, do you have any closing comments?
Mr. President Pro Tem, no comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Member District 5, you have the floor.
No comment, Brother President Pro Tem. Everybody have a good evening.
All right. Thank you, sir. Councilwoman James.
Yes, I would just like to again thank the Pontiac Youth Recreation, their presentation tonight with stress and bringing in the young people who expressed their appreciation at the things that they learned in that class, and of course the fantastic Pontiac United group that's been working with our young people. I mean, I am so impressed with the number of Pontiac residents who are actively involved in seeing our city just, be on top. There is no way that we can really go back to where we were just because of the people that are just determined to move this city forward. And I appreciate you so much. I mean, you're not getting paid but you're out there every day working hard to make our city better. And I just want to commend all of you, in particular that the Pontiac United Group and the Pontiac Youth Recreation for the beautiful presentations that you guys did on tonight. Very, very inspiring. On June 6, 2023, the Pontiac City Council approved a resolution recognizing the city of Pontiac as a city of resilience. And I just want to read the definition for resilience is the ability to withstand and recover quickly from difficult situations. And, you know, as a city, we want to be a city that is able to work through their problems without becoming dysfunctional. Because we have had that problem that as we, you know, as problems, because everybody has problems, but our problems, we argue to the point that we become dysfunctional. And once you become dysfunctional, then nothing really takes place. So we need to move forward, but we need to be able to continue to be a productive city and a city that is able to continue to recover and to work through our problems. We have problems. We're not perfect, but we are determined to be able to work through those problems and continue to do what is in the best interest of this city. And with that, I want to say good night.
Thank you, Councilwoman James. At this time, Councilman Goodman. Closing comments.
Yeah, I can make it pretty quick. Thank you to the residents in District 3 who have been helping get that blighted property addressed on Kennett. Thank you to their dedication along with code enforcement for finally getting that cleaned up. And also want to just make sure that I highlighted for everyone that the District 3 community meeting is on March 25th, which is the last Monday of this month at the Baldwin Center from 5 to 6. The Baldwin Center's address is 212 Baldwin Avenue. So I look forward to seeing all of you there. And then I also would love to, again, extend the invite to Councilman McGinnis's meeting, because of that will also be the town hall regarding our housing ordinances. So if you are interested in hearing more about that specific source of income, human rights ordinance, please do come out to his meeting. But with that, I will say good night.
Thank you, Councilman. At this time, I'll actually give some 6th District closing comments. We Care Neighborhood Association monthly meeting restarts this Friday at 6 p.m. The location has been changed to the Word Believing Christian Center at 156 University Drive. This church is in the 6th District. Also, I got a couple concerns for the administration. 482 Omar and 47 Omar. I would like to get an update concerning those two particular properties. I know that they was in litigation last year. I just want to see what the outcome is for those particular properties. And first and foremost, I want to thank the community for coming out and offering very sincere comments. And sometimes when you sit here, and I just want to say this, and it's no disrespect for anyone, because I am a good listener. And sometimes I don't say things because I actually utilize what these young people brought to us, just to be truthful, because if I make a comment on everything somebody say, then I'll probably have a headache and I get sick and health-wise, and then some of it is sometimes misinformation, right? So I just want to leave us with this comment tonight. In the arms race between those who want to falsify information or misinformation and those who want to produce accurate information, the former would always have the advantage. So those that come and talk about misinformation always got the advantage, right? So basically, it's a no-win for anybody that's sitting on this podium. And good night. At this time, can I get a motion to dismiss?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Parker and seconded by Councilman Goodman to adjourn. Roll call, clerk.
Goodman?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Parker? Yes. Carrington?
Yes. Good night.
4 yeas. not 19.